Nilly. In the red, we have Miguel. He's playing as the Huns, and he's teamed up with Dogal. He's playing as the Tatars, and that right off the bat tells me that maybe Brazil are saving civs for later on. In the blue, we have Yo, who's playing as the Franks, top tier civilization to have in this spot. And then we have Britons for Licks on Arabia, again, a top tier civ in this spot.
Yeah, so civilization's clearly better here for Team China. It is interesting, right? Now the first time we will look into best of sevens, so we have to go deep into those civilizations.
Yeah, exactly. So you win with Franks and Britons. I would say at a high level, it's almost expected, or you should expect to win there. But if Brazil are able to get a win here against Franks and Britons with civs that don't feel quite as strong on Arabia, that would be a massive, massive lead for them. It's almost like winning a game and a half, I think, if you win game one now as Brazil.
Yeah, and people, again, confused. They think, okay, Tatars, well, they got new buffs. They are really good. Remember, guys, we are still playing with the old patch. So Tatars, not a lot of stuff going for them except the instant thumping.
Yeah, now, if you think about how Dogao has played every single standard map game, it's been Drush FC, Nilly. And while new Tatars are better with Drush FC because you get additional sheep, Drush FC is still something that Tatars were quite good at pre-buff.
Yeah.
So I think it might actually be good for Brazil to try that Drush FC. And if you get a lead early Castle Age, there's plenty of sheep over here for Dogao. He's pushing in some ostriches. It could actually work out.
Yeah, that's so true. But they are limited, right? You have crossbows. Yeah, you can get a lead, but Britain's Frank's looking pretty hot. Then again, you transition into Imp, and you don't get Arbalists.
Yeah, so it's either get a massive, massive lead going into Imp or just finish the game in Castle Age. I mean, Huns on the flip side for Brazil, that one of the better civilizations for spamming those knights in the mid game. So that could be quite good. I spoke to Miguel a little bit, and this was a public conversation, so I don't think it's too much of a spoiler. And I think it's self-explanatory too. He said that when Dogal is going Drush FC like this, he just makes a few more scouts than you would typically do on the scout roll, because he's expected to get pressured. And then hopefully Dogal is able to carry in early Castle Age. So I find it interesting because China have not had that same outlook with their archer player. You've had Licks going for 2-range archer ranges in feudal almost every single game.
Yeah, that's so true. Except maybe something like Saracens. There we saw a bit of a wilder approach. But you saw Brazil, knowing about that, instantly banning Saracens away.
They did, yeah. By the way, apologies to some people who are watching right now on my screen. I left the Christmas mod on, my bad. I'll remove the Christmas mod. Or the holiday mod, I should say. I forgot about that, and it's not the most professional start to a series, but Wall's coming up for Miguel now, Nilly, and he's definitely expecting some type of pressure here.
Yeah, wants to be sure, and oh boy, those are big walls in front of his berries, and... That's something we haven't really seen from him that much, right? Already walling off with 4 villagers here in Dark Age. That's costly.
Yeah, maybe a result of expecting Dogao to be doing his own thing. And if Dogao is going Drush FC, the pressure either goes 2v1 to Dogao or 2v1 to Miguel. I guess Brazil learning to play safe. Here come the militia. Now, do you think Drush FC is better to have against the scout player or better to have against the archer player?
That's an interesting question that I never asked myself before. You kind of don't want to get punished, right? So, I think it doesn't really matter if you have a good map. It obviously is way easier to punish a scout player once you get out like 6 crossbows.
Yeah, I hear Dogao. Game 1, I mean, there might be some jitters here from both teams. And he sees the villager. It's unlikely he will kill that villager, but he does deny the wall off.
Is it? Scout is around. Dogao is really good at blocking.
Okay. He probably makes the good move there to decide to move along. And here he comes in towards Yo. So Yo can't get that wall off on the left side. But Yo with some nice quick walls so far. I will see if Dogao's able to do any more damage.
Well, alone forcing some villagers away, forcing all those quick walls makes it rough. But Yo on point.
Yeah, Yo on point. However, I don't like that one quick wall. I don't think the villagers on the left can drop off wood. So that hurts. And then also, there's 4 villagers on the right side. I think this is a really successful Drush so far. Look at these villagers. They can't drop off resources.
Oh yeah, so many idols at the moment. This is really, really scrappy at the moment. And Yo might suffer. Let's see if he will have enough wood for the stable. Look at that, only 30 wood in the bank.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to place that stable.
Oh, and killed the
Miguel
palisade.
also sending the scout in, and he's through. Phew. What a start, Nilly. You don't need to kill with Drushes. You're just trying to delay and buy time, and Brazil have got exactly that.
And, well, that's just so good for the Drush FC after that one. I for a second feared that Dogao wouldn't wall completely, but way too good. Will be completely safe, drop some more farms, and this should be a pretty easy fast castle for him.
Yeah, pretty easy, fast castle. Also, we'll have Thumb Ring with the crossbows. Yo had to re-wall this. But Yo, I mean, this brings me back to the typical meta that we've seen from China A. They need to get their military out in Feudal Age to punish the fact that Dogao is still in Dark Age.
Yeah, but, well, Dogao is walled for now, right? Archers take some time to get over to the other side of the map. You mentioned it, Miguel's so good in producing all those scouts. And Yo, he will really struggle to put out the pressure. Look at that. Economy looks in shambles. Look at it, as you see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a game start off quite this bad for Yo in this tournament. This is super sloppy. I know we've had licks in some rough spots throughout this series, or not the series, the tourney so far.
Look
but
at
Nilly,
I know why it's happened. Go into Yo's point of view. He didn't scout at all. He was pushing deer way too greedily.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 3 or 4 ostriches pushed in. It's also interesting because you would think that he would have... I mean, he saw all the games, right? I'm pretty sure that he saw all the games from Brazil, so it just didn't get the wall up in time. If that wall up on the left would have been there, then I think the rest of this would have been easier.
Oh, villager actually
What a
fighting.
great Drush.
Yeah, buying so much time. Now will get cleared up eventually. Dogao, well, tries to find a kill, but Yo 2 on point with that. But now you have 4 scouts. Will they find any damage? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. The walls are already going to be up. Illy, it makes it interesting now because we both feel like Franks and Britons are so much better. But that's a significant little lead there for the Tatars and Huns. Here comes Lix now. Understanding that if I send Spearmans here, straight scouts can't counter me. But Miguel does maybe have enough scouts to consider taking this fight, actually. He's got 5 scouts, 6 on the way. And then he could take out the Spearman and there's 3 archers if he chooses to.
A wild thing that I've never thought of before as well. I think actually Huns might be one of the trickier civilizations to complement a player going Drush fast castle, because you can't re-wall with houses. So if Lux keeps under pressure against Miguel, it might be problematic for him.
Yeah, it's actually a massive problem because one of the best things you can do is build a second layer of walls with your houses. You can't do that with Huns. It's a bonus, but it also could be a disadvantage in the crucial moments. But yeah, Lick's falling back now. He lost 3 archers there and a spearman. The big deal is going to be the archer numbers, as Yo sending his scouts over towards Miguel. And it's very common for Miguel to expect the pressure in this spot. He's adding more palisade walls, Nilly, and might even make more scouts.
What I think he should have done, though, is wall the front first. Look at how he's already walling the back quite nicely. But the attack always comes from the front first. And yeah, now he pulls 2 more villagers and walls the front. I like that.
Yeah, okay. So, you know what? It's going to be kind of awkward for him as far as food goes. He does have a lot on berries yet, and I think the berries will be ranged. And that wood line can be ranged. I mean, this is why for the past couple years, we felt like scouts into archers is the safe play. I think maybe 80% of teams are playing this, and only a few teams are deciding to leave a teammate out to dry. Like Miguel currently, how many times has he had to build a tower in Feudal Age on Arabia in this tournament? He's now trying to go for a gate.
And that was misplaced, actually deleting one of his own palisades, and that's only 100 HP. And remember, they don't have armor. This could be tricky.
Oh, man, that gate could just melt. But if Miguel can get this tower up, he can keep the units out. He might actually be able to pull this off, Nearly. That was, you're right, a big mistake to take out one of his own palisades, but at least the tower goes up.
Oh, what a great defense by Miguel. Finds a scout kill behind this, still has his own scouts around. Now we have to take a look over what can Dogao do.
Yeah, Dogao sending archers forward. Now, it's still really important that Miguel can hold this on his own. He's getting bloodlines. He's staying in feudal. And Miguel, I forget what they said in the interview. Oh, no. Dogao said Miguel is my shield.
Ah.
So so Miguel, I think it was said kind of ironically as well, but Miguel is just meant to keep the team in the game while Dogao does his thing. And here come the crossbows and Yo going for stonewalls.
Oh yeah, he kind of has to, right? Walling with 7 villagers at the moment. This is tricky, but Yo behind this, already on the way to Castle Age as well.
A pretty good job. I think he can still take the gold. The wood lines, though, Nilly, going to be a massive problem because both wood lines are rangeable and no safe wood line to take. Maybe a few straggler trees will be needed.
Yeah, but he already was on those stragglers, so they already have limited wood on them. Not the greatest mining camp by Mr. Yo either, and Dogao sees the stone walls, tries to switch target, goes for Lix.
Yeah, so he's now on the way over to Lix. Now, all things considered, we have Lix on the way to Castle Age and Yo on the way to Castle Age, and then Miguel hasn't clicked up yet. So this is definitely doable for China. And Lix forcing down a tower. Nearly, is there a hole between the blacksmith and... Oh, no, there's not. Okay, never mind.
But there's a hole in the head of that villager, but still walks away.
Yeah.
Look at how good China is in buying time. This is
Seriously.
just incredibly good. Like a lesser team already dies on both sides. Miguel's defense, so nice. Yo and Lux walling behind it as well. I love it.
Yeah, both teams certainly worthy of being in this position, right? Making it to the semis with no question. I mean, Brazil, they were close to losing to Vietnam, but still overall felt like their strategy, especially on the standard maps, very tough to deal with. Now, that house could go down eventually. In 15%, Yo will be in Castle Age. Is that going to be in time to save Lix?
Seems like... Well, they're not really going for it, so not trying to force the issue. Going for the wood lines again. Something I would have actually liked by Dogao. Did he not see the second wood line, maybe?
He
saw everything.
He thought about it. Yeah, maybe he felt like it'd waste too much time to go there. But yeah, he wasn't able to pressure it at the proper time, Nilly. And now you have Yo on 3 stable knights. This is not going to be 3 town centers and a full-on boom. No, this is crazy military numbers from China combined with what will be Britain crossbows. This is going to be really tough for Brazil now.
Goes for forging even, so he, well, really wants to put on the pressure apparently, and was low on stone, obviously with all the stone walls, sent lots of villagers on to stone, so he can at TCs now. 6 knights out really early.
And then 3 stables for Miguel. So we'll have 3 stables from both the knight players. Now here I feel like it makes a little bit more sense because he's not going to have that many crossbows assisting him from Dogao, and that's Britain's coming his way, but... Expect the knight numbers, Nilly, and the Brazilians falling back for now.
Oh man, and remember Hans bonus, right? So that's basically 3.6 stables that he's producing out of. He will get onto numbers quite quickly as well.
Yeah, now what I don't like is that the crossbows are already firing upon his base. He doesn't have any support from Dogao, and Yo doing a great job with his scouts to see where Dogao's at. I don't know if he spotted them there, but he's sending his knights over. This will be a 2v1 on Miguel, who's already lost a Vil.
But they're going away. That's a bit surprising to me. It felt like there might have been a timing. You know, Dogao was at the other side. Interesting that they're switching away.
I can't help but laugh, though, because Dogao, he instantly started going back when Miguel told him, I don't see them anymore. Like, he knows that they could be swinging back over to him, but also China may be hesitating there intentionally, so Dogao stays at home, and so Miguel won't have any support, because here they are. You'll see Dogao come over to save his teammates soon. Those palisades will melt like butter.
Meanwhile, great job by Miguel using his scout. Still intercepted some of the crossbows, even intercepted one of the archer ranges being built.
Okay, but over to his base now. Nili's got 1 TC, which truthfully is the play. He really should be producing a lot. They need to pounce on this army, Brazil, because 58 villagers for Dogao is no joke. He's got a crazy economy. He has thumb ring crossbows. If they can trap this without Miguel taking many losses, it's a perfect spot for the Brazilians.
Holy moly, look at the technology tab. Look at what Dogao is going for.
Coinage.
He's going
so
to
game 1, he feels the need to sling. Is that how bad they feel like this spot is, Nilly? Because I don't know if sling is necessarily the right move. Miguel, though, losing farmers off of gold might need some resources.
Oh man, and well, I think Tatars don't scale well into late Imperial Age, so it makes kind of sense If you think, okay, Tatars use the early bonus, get some control, but Miguel not really in the spot where I can see him dominating the game.
Yeah, let's see if China can get out of here. Lix needs to keep those crossbows alive. They might actually be able to. There's enough knights there for Miguel to consider pouncing, right? And there's crossbows as well, but Lix buying time and also getting great value.
Oh yeah, great job there, using the hill advantage now. Dogao a bit out of position and can't really close down the distance. When was the last time Dogao shot?
Yeah, Dogao can't get in close enough. Now you're going to see some shots in, but it's on a few knights that are there. At what cost? And here comes Mr. Yo with reinforcements as resources are flying in towards Miguel, but it was looking great for Brazil. It's not looking so great now if China are able to have map control after this.
Oh, Miguel, maybe rewalling there could have been a good option. That's lots of losses for him. Needs to expand. Villagers for him aren't looking great. Not even 40.
Yeah, okay, but you have Dogao with 68. There's 68 vills, and he's sending mostly food and gold over to Miguel. So Miguel, excuse me, I just combined the two names, will be able to contribute with knights at least.
And if you getting the sling, you need to achieve one of the two. Either get full map control and then get into the tech advantage, or deal some damage. And Miguel could achieve neither yet. Yeah,
okay. So I'm looking at the military numbers. You would think that Lix would have way less after that, but because of the faster working ranges with Britons and because of his 3 ranges at home, he still has the same military number as the other archer player. And he gets a few Vil kills, backs away. And one player we haven't talked about for a while is Mr. Yo. And Mr. Yo had a rough start to the game, Nilly, but he'll be on 3 TCs. All those forward golds are secured, and the knights are spamming out of multiple stables.
And don't you feel like with those open golds that maybe Dogao could have played a bit differently? They also knew that the wood spots were so open. I think heavy pressure on Mr. Yo could have worked wonderfully.
Heavy pressure on Lix, though, could work wonders here, and Lix was not using his range, Nilly. And there's way more knights from Miguel.
He's only microing with half of the army.
I think it was going to be a losing fight regardless, but if you compare this situation to what happened a moment ago, Lix is not getting any value from this fight. And sure, Dogao takes losses as well, but there's knights right on front of Lix's base. And Lix with 57 villagers, but can he keep them alive?
Oh, Miguel with 56 kills. Let's take a look. Can we see some rewalls? I don't think tower is the right option. I think you needed to get some walls behind. Can they wall in time? Oh,
house wall just in time. Dogao needs to use the little crossbows he has there. Nilly on the other side, there's a hole in the wall, and Dogao needed some house walls. So Dogao is getting raided by Yo. Yo also needs to keep Lix alive, and Miguel just can't break through.
Oh, this is like if you had like 6 crossbows behind it, that would be so much more. Oh, but the gate opened.
Oh, what a play! The gate opens up. And Lix says, not enough, forget about her. But no, that house is down, Nilly. That house is down. And Yo does not have enough knights to support. Miguel's killing it.
I think we need to see stonewalls there rather than a tower. Or Miguel hungry for the kill. And do you think that Yo maybe should have helped there? Or is the raid doing enough damage against Dogao?
Well, he maybe didn't foresee that there'd be that many knights. Because how can Miguel make that many knights after they did that much damage to his eco? So it's actually just great strategy from Brazil to get the sling in. I think it's confused China, and I'm still unsure on how this is going to go for China. Lix does have a few crossbows. He's got a nice little choke point.
And Lix eco actually not idle at all. Look at that. All the back eco actually untouched.
Yeah, true. Has gold, has wood. I guess villagers on the front not looking so good. But yeah, Yo and Lix hold on. Like, how did Lix suddenly show up with this many crossbowmen? That's insane. And now we have knights from Miguel. And this is maybe that shift of focus you talked about, Nilly. Pressure the forward gold to the knight player.
Yeah, but, well, there's only 5 knights there. Yo can easily defend. Some small scattered around army of Dogao is coming over, trying to go for some raids, but I think Yo should easily hold this.
Yeah, guys, there's a drop-off point with the sling. You have to take a huge advantage over 10 to 15 minutes. If you don't, the team that's relying on their own eco tends to be better off. And you can see the eco numbers so good for Yo and for Lix, and they are holding, but is there potential for Miguel to raid Yo? At the same time, China's sending both their forces over to Miguel. He's got 3 knights at home.
Yeah, a big misconception. People think, okay, Dogao has 70 villagers, so that's basically 70 more villagers for Miguel. But no, he's producing out of TCs, so that's maybe minus 15 villagers already. Then you have to apply the 20% tax after coinage. So actually the sling is like, assume like 50 to 45 more villagers, quote unquote, only.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving a boost, but is it enough of a boost here? Miguel has most of his military forward. Yo does still have plenty on gold. He has 30 on gold, 29 on food, and he's actually receiving resources from Lix. So China are counter-slinging to maybe get Yo onto more knights or the Imperial Age.
Oh, but military count is now such a big difference. The knight players looking at 25, but 28 more crossbows on the field. How can Miguel engage against that?
Yeah, it feels like he can. We'll have to receive more resources and maybe go home. And if he goes home, it might give Mr. Yo time. Mr. Yo's just adding more stables, Nilly. He's not going to Imp. He's just going to make 60 knights in Castle Age. This is nuts.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, he knows his goals are open, right? He doesn't really have the timing where he can breathe some. Uh-oh, what is Dogao doing with all those villagers? Tries to get a castle up in the center of the map. That shouldn't work.
Wait a second. The Castle Foundation gave him vision there.
Yeah.
The Castle Foundation gave him vision because the knights ran over it. So good awareness. And he'll probably tell Miguel what's up. But Miguel's already trying to chase down this army of crossbows and knights that China have in between the Brazilians' bases. And is this a fight? Lix microing this time. It feels like this is a fight that can be quite good for either team, depending on the positioning.
Well, Yo's sending way too many knights to reinforce. I think this should be better for China.
Yeah, if Miguel was there 15 seconds faster, he could have engaged against the crossbows. But China holding against that Drush FC, against the Sling. Yo, with 102 villagers and receiving resources right now, I'm beginning to fear that the Brazilians just don't have a chance.
Oh, man. Feels like it. The team play is so good from China. Look at that knight production. It's out of control. Yo looking at 40 knights now.
Yeah, 40 knights, and soon he'll have a dozen more. And sure, you have a castle on that hill, Dogao, but what's to stop the knights from running under that? What's to stop these knights and crossbows from breaking through your houses? This is wild.
Can he rewall? No, just pulling the villagers, accepts its losses. And yeah, Miguel. Oh god, he's lacking stables. He's only sitting at 3 stables. Look at his production. He has like 10 extra knights in the queue.
Yeah, he's a lot of knights queued. Yo, meanwhile, has 5 or 6 stables all queued with 3 knights. It's 5 stables queued with 3 knights. Miguel's been on 3 stables the entire time. Yeah, maybe that is something we'll look back on as a mistake. But remember, Miguel didn't have the best eco to begin with. And I think this is where you just take out town centers, right? There's nothing stopping you from melting economies.
Oh, yeah. That's an easy gone TC. Crossbows under it. That will include like 15 dead villagers. Then Miguel simply coming over there too late. And look who's up to Imperial Age.
Lix, after sending tons of food and gold over to his teammates, now like, okay, my turn to use those resources. I'm going to Imp. This is crazy from China, man. I mean, this went from 0 to 60 really quick for them.
From 0 to 60. That's something we don't say in Europe.
Yeah, it's like 0 to
100,
80.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, next CC might fall. And oh god, that's so many dead villagers. If you have small children at home, close their eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I admire the fact that Brazilians are continuing to play, but when you have Huns against Franks, and then you have the Britain player with this many crossbows. Miguel, there's no world in which he can carry this for his team now. There's knights everywhere. 60 knights for Yo, 60 crossbows for Lix, and anywhere that the Brazilians go, they will die at this point.
And yeah, so many people thinking, okay, Mr. Yo is the star of this team, and Lux, well, maybe not even top 10 in the world, but oh boy, is he performing in team games, and they have great synergy.
Yeah, the guy barely plays 1v1s. It's hard to call him a top 10 1v1 player when he barely plays 1v1s. Plays team games all the time. They played together for years and years and years. They were in the finals in 2018. They're in the finals of so many big team game events, and we're just watching Dogao die now. I guess in the previous set that Brazil played, Miguel was defeated, so maybe
Yeah.
Miguel's saying, no, let's continue to play until Dogao's defeated.
That's indeed the revenge of the Chaos Pit game. Sadly, we won't see Chaos Pit in this set.
Yeah, that's crazy, actually. We can talk more about that after the game, what home maps are there. Lick's now an imp. And Yo, almost there. I guess good work from Miguel to deny that castle, but he's still taking bad fights everywhere you look.
Weird fight in the center, indeed, and Miguel is getting intercepted there. I think even he has to realize that this game is over.
Yeah. He is on Yo's TC, so he might feel like that's good damage. And it's not bad damage, I'll tell you that much, but I don't know if it's going to be quite enough. Yo bringing knights back home. Maybe could have dealt with this earlier. Losing villagers.
And no gold income at the moment, because those two gold spots are at the front.
Probably what Miguel is saying right now, but no, they see Yo's an imp. They know Lix is already an imp. I think Miguel would struggle enough against Arbalest, so the GG's called. And Nilly, we said when we saw Franks and Britons that Tatar's Huns would have to work early. And the Brazilians tried what they could. They went Drush FC. Miguel made extra scouts. They got Dogao into his spot with the crossbowman, but China just seemed unfazed by it. They were able to defend from it, and then when they realized the sling was coming, they said, we'll do that too.
That was beautiful reaction for sure. They also really put on the pressure, realized, okay, Dogao won't build too many more crossbow. It is tricky to find the timing, right? With Tatars, you feel you can't play late imp. Cav archers, not really an option. Yeah, they are good for Tatars, but the unit itself isn't that great. And when do you start the sling? I actually like the timing. I think it was just too easily broken into Miguel's base.
Yeah, I think China were just a bit too quick to do damage to Miguel. If Miguel was in a better position when he received the sling and could have 3 TCs and not take as many losses, then I think that could work. Yeah, I think that's probably a planned strategy for Brazil. It seemed like it was something that had to be practiced with how structured it was. Dogao not adding additional archery ranges. Dogao expanding to 3 TCs, getting coinage when he did. But yeah, Nilly, China get the first win. And I think the one thing I'd like for people who are watching now to remember, when you're watching high-level players, there are tons of great players and there are tons of great teams. But there are only so many players who can have a Dark Age and a Feudal Age like that, and then turn that around and beast it up to win the game, right, Nilly? Like, that was incredible. Yo had such a rough time, and then 10 minutes later, China are winning.
Yeah. Also carried by both great walls, right? He walled nicely behind it, went for the stone walls. Lux went for mass walls with all the houses. And maybe you have to still question Miguel. If he had houses behind those walls, if he maybe had stone walls, could they have won this game?
Yeah, maybe. Stonewall it up. If you're expecting the sling, I don't know. It's really tough for us to say, but great game to start it all off, Nilly. So going into the series was expecting to see a lot of standard maps from the Brazilians. I'm surprised that they picked Team Islands as one of their home maps.
Yeah.
Because Miguel told me we're performing well on standard maps and we need to practice other maps. So maybe they practice Team Islands a lot. Ghost Lake and then Golden Pit are their other home maps that are available.
Yeah, they're going for Team Islands next, and this is really surprising to me.
Wow.
Because, like, China A has constantly been picking Team Islands, so it's basically close to impossible that they are banning it. So Brazil can, if they want to pick it as a home map, can pick it later.
What a confident pick this has to be, man. I think Mr. Yo and Lix were always choosing Team Islands and Nomad. And Brazil's like, no, we'll take care of that for you. Wow.
And Tristan, if we talked about kind of like weaker picks, maybe even you could call them throwaway picks with Tatars and Huns on Arabia, look at those civilizations. Do you have any idea about potential strategies here for China?
I mean, I think it's on my overlay right now. And if that's true, I am a little bit confused. By the way, to my viewers, I think I was a little loud for game 1. Are the audio levels a bit better now? I lowered myself on my end. Let me know I can make some adjustments. Sorry I didn't really answer your question, Nilly, but I see
the mod off. Put the mod off.
Yeah, I did that as well.
Good job.
So Celts and Teutons on Team Islands. What on earth are we going to see here?
Well, they had only Italians, right? And I think I've never seen such a deep ban into the map draft. Italians, what is that? Pick number 10 got actually sniped. This is really weird. But they didn't have any other water civilizations, so makes sense.
Okay. I mean, Celts aren't the worst. You're probably going to have Licks land anyways. But this is the first time I've seen Teutons on a water map, unless it was Loey the Legends. So, I mean, the meta that we're used to, Nilly, is to have one person go for water control, have the other person land. That's the meta that Yo and Licks dominate with. Maybe Miguel and Dogao do not want to land. Maybe they expect it in some way.
Also, if they pick Teutons now, how many horse civs do they still have left? They have Magyars, Persians, Berbers, and we still have Valley, Golden Pit, and Ghost Lake. Okay, that still checks out. So they had a spare Cav civ.
Yeah. Yeah, to the viewers, there's absolutely nothing worse than drafting and then realizing, oh no, we needed one more Cav civ. Or oh no, we needed one more Archer civ. That's so bad because you can't go back. You can't redo it. There's no restarts on a draft. So it happens pretty frequently. Oh boy. All right, Nilly. So, I mean, one of the best civilizations for Team Islands, or two of the best civilizations for Team Islands for Team Brazil, as we go over to their home map, game 2 in the first semifinal. Portuguese, amazing with their caravels, amazing with the gold discount, and then in late game, the Feitoria actually becoming a factor. And then Japanese, the very cheap lumber camps and mills helping out with early docks, and then tanky fishing ships. And then Celts and Teutons for China. What on earth?
I think they simply didn't expect that Italians could be banned that late. And then probably planned something like, okay, Italians goes water, the other guy lands, and then the landing civilization isn't that important. But if you lose Italians, you're suddenly left with no options, and that's why we see those two wild civilizations.
Yeah, and, well, in game 1, we talked about how important the draft was, and Yo and Licks got the win with better civilizations. The strategy was different, of course, and you could argue Brazil could have won that, but it's a similar thing here where they pick Italians being the best water civ, and then Brazil says, no, we're not going to give you that. So I'd say advantage Brazil in terms of the civs if they stick to some type of meta, but do you change up how you play this? Do you still have Yo try and win water with fires and then have Licks go landing, or do you do something completely different if you're China?
I think it's simply a strategy that cannot work. Like, it only works if you are the way better player, and then civilizations aren't that important. Celts should lose to Japanese or Portuguese on the same level.
Okay, so I think what you're telling me is if they stick to their strat, Licks needs to have a beast of a game. Licks needs to damage both players with his landing, right?
Or they go for a double landing.
Ooh. Have we ever seen that? I don't think we've seen that in the 2v2 World Cup
Not
yet.
in the World Cup, yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, if Yo gets to Castle Age, having a siege workshop up on the enemy island could be huge. Just have Yo make the Mangonels.
Yeah, but then again, if no one goes water, it's so easy to fish boom, right? For Japanese, Portuguese, and how many villagers you need to kill, it's just ridiculous, right? Even if you kill 10 villagers, if the opponent still has 10 fishing ships extra, you're actually only even.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think you have to have someone on water. Could you maybe go double water as well if you're China? I know Teutons aren't necessarily set out for that, but go double water just because they're expecting Licks to land?
That's hashtag mind games then, right? Lux is going for the back dock, so kind of indicating that he doesn't want to go for it. Yo goes for a very defensive dock as well. If anything, they're playing into fast castle and then water. I think the straight up Grush, even if you try to catch them off guard, your civilization just doesn't have any real bonuses for water if you're Teutons.
Sure. Yeah. This is something Brazil will certainly like to see, and I'll say the same thing I said during game 1. If China win this, massive confidence boost for them because they're winning against Japanese and Portuguese and on the opponent's home map. But if they lose this, in their eyes, they might say it's almost expected because the levels are so close and they're at a disadvantage. But I shouldn't say expected. You still cannot make mistakes. You still have to play top tier Age of Empires. It's just that we're so used to teams making so few mistakes.
Yeah, honestly, if China wins this one, I wouldn't be surprised if Brazil is mentally broken. With those civilizations, with their first home map, they picked it, they wanted to play it, they have to win.
Did Lix just shoot his Rhino? He just shot his Rhino with his TC?
Oh no.
And say goodbye.
Well, then he has to play fast cards. He has 7 on wood as well, so he intended it anyways, but... oh, God.
Nilly, I know even more people are doing it nowadays, where they weaken the Rhino or board with their town center, and then finish it off with the Vills, but like, every tournament we cast together, we're saying the same damn thing. This happened in like the last 2 tournaments we've cast together, in crucial moments too. It's not like we're talking about the round of 64, one team's way better than the other. No, in the semifinal.
Yeah, I know. And it's always like you saying, oh, it's too risky. And I'm trying to be like, oh, but there are advantages and trying to show both sides. But guys, if you keep shooting the boar, stop it.
Yeah, just don't make the mistake, just win. That's all you have to do. Well, okay, so Lix making the transport now, so maybe it was not FC. Maybe he just wanted... Well, actually, Nilly, I think you have to send that 6th or 7th to wood earlier if you want to go back dock and then the transport, because the transport takes so long to generate. So maybe that was it. But anywho, he will be down 400 food because of his own doing.
This is a debate. He only sends the scout. He won't send villagers, I believe. I think there's a fast castle play still.
It would be a 6 debate.
He's not doing loom yet. He's not sending any villagers. Yeah. I think this is a normal fast castle.
That's a mind game and a half right there. If you send the scout across and then Brazil spends most of feudal age looking for your villagers. Let's see.
Yeah, but are they looking for the villagers if the opponent isn't up to feudal age at like 10:30? I think this is a mind game that could be read quite easily.
Well, we'll find out. I think it really depends on the player. I think you and I as a caster, we can break down why you should expect certain things, and expect certain results from certain actions. But I think if you have watched hundreds of practice games and played hundreds of practice games, and then scouts show up, you're expecting there to be villagers somewhere. And Miguel's making scouts at home, so he's expecting some type of landing. And you're right, Nilly, it's just a debate. Lix is going FC, but the scouts are across for China.
Yeah, and maybe now you actually mind game the mind gamer to mind game even more mind gamey. Send 2 villagers around and actually make an attack happen in Castle Age.
Yeah, now Miguel saw the deer move. That's why he's scouting here. He saw the deer move. Players will pay attention to that. Now he's signaling and saying, okay, there's scouts here from Team China, and they will also have to look for the villagers. So I really think it's going to take a couple minutes for Brazil to figure out there's no villagers here.
Well, Lux is still not feudal age, right? And Kel player? Will the Kel player land? I don't expect, but they still get a villager kill. Oh god, that's a good start.
It's a very good start, and it's got to be a little tilting too to lose that villager. The whole idea is to expect the landing, kill the villagers, and then have good fish eco. So paying attention to the economy, it's still pretty good for Brazil. And then on water, Yo is going into galleys. So China taking some interesting little risks here that could pay off.
Especially Brazil against China. Ping shouldn't be super low. I don't like galleys that early. I think I would have started with 4 fire galley first. But, well, he did the side talk, so maybe he thought he had enough time and took out, didn't play hyper aggressively.
All right, so I'm paying attention to a few things. And here comes Lix! Neely, how many, are you within the mind of Lix? Or what? Because you called this spot on.
Yeah, it's like easy to get into the mind of Lix, right? Just think of the craziest thing that could happen and just say it.
Now, what's funny is Lix failed to get that quick wall up, but he can hop inside the transport, and he finished that stable.
99%.
Okay, he'll finish the stable.
Will
but
he?
Now,
run and jump. Yeah, I think he's...
I'm sorry, Neely. I'm getting too excited here. Miguel needs to fully wall that in. He's working on it right now. He hopped on this immediately.
And he even has to kill the palisade there because he has to wall towards the cliff as well. I think, yeah, Lux shouldn't go for a single scout.
No, Lix can't do anything. He is going to be in Castle Age, but he can't make knights now. But he could also make another stable. The villagers are still there.
Dogao with the galley transition. Didn't have fletching for now. We'll lose a village.
Okay, so also big thing from Dogal. He's looped around with his fire to hit Lix's fish. That's massive because Miguel has his fishing ships untouched, and now Lix will lose all that fishing eco. Also, Dogal's patrolling his scout in the front here, Nilly. So if Lix tries this, it's likely that he could lose those villagers to scouts.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a landing in the back, honestly. Just go to the very far left-hand side and try to get around and only land in Castle Edge. At least that's what I wanted to see, but obviously I have more intel on where Miguel is actually scouting.
Yeah, it's a bit risky, right? When you feel the need to do damage and then it gets picked off by a fire galley, you're going to look... We could easily be saying, why did you do that, right? So good job from Miguel. And there's Lix. Oh, my God.
Also, you see Miguel, look at his second lumber camp now. This is completely idle, right? That's the indirect damage you're also doing with the landing. Like, such a big reaction forced by Miguel.
They don't see it. They don't see the stable.
Like, the first stable that Lux already had. Like,
No. I understand what you mean, but I'm talking about the next stable. It's up.
Oh, yeah?
And Knights are on the way out. Two Knights, free melee armor. And the Brazilians, well, you have Miguel on the way up, but Dogal isn't clicked up yet. This could be really tough for them.
Well, Dogal is fully walled for now. I think he is only in danger once the siege workshop goes up, but his galley should chase away the transport. And the distance is quite long towards Miguel, who I think should start adding some spearmen.
Let's see, Lix wants that siege workshop, Nilly. Oh, this is where Miguel needs to use his scouts. Oh! These villagers, man. I would hate to be the villagers, but it's sure fun to watch them. They need to go somewhere. And there they are. One villager down. The next one should also die. Well played, Brazil.
Quick wall. Oh, Lix! Lix did it!
Oh my God! That could be so important. Now a monastery's on the way up. That villager has 1 HP.
And he deserves some healing. He deserves some healing.
Well, let's see what happens here, because Dogal's doing the right thing, and Dogal is adding a tower. The villager has to go... I mean, if the villager goes to the south, or the villager goes to the west, I think it's going to die regardless. The monastery will go up, though.
Villager run, villager run. No, Paul, don't die. Run, Paul.
Oh!
Paul!
This guy's a beast! This guy's a beast. I would be so tilted if I were Brazil. The villager's still alive, and Miguel just lost his scouts. You're kidding me.
And he's wanting him in again.
Oh, my word, man. And on water, things were looking amazing for Dogal, right? But unfortunately, Yo's going to have the time to compete there. Yo's on the way to Castle Age. He's at 80%, so he could actually win water in a moment. And now the Brazilians are unable to stop. Knight, Monk, Maganel push, and the golds are right. I mean, everything's just going wrong for Brazil.
Oh, God. How did Lux pull that one off? Still surviving there. Now healing.
Oh, he just converted one.
Up.
He just converted one, too. He just converted a villager, and it's now behind the walls. So he could be frustrating with that. Nilly, this team, we've talked about it for so long now. You know they're going to do it, but they're still able to make it happen on Team Islands.
And after killing his own boar, right?
Yeah. Cheap Tootin' Farms, man. It's OP. A big fight on water incoming. That's actually great for Brazil because Yo's about to get the upgrades. But it should look a bit better for Yo in just a moment.
Does he not have the eco for Botkin? Huh, bit surprising.
It's close. Yeah, it's close. Dogal having to hit and run, but Yo coming in and clearing up the fishing ships now.
And Yo is hyper confident. Look at that. He's adding 2 TCs already. He thinks he won water.
Yeah.
And he probably
honestly,
did.
Nilly, there's no way that Dogal can compete on water now. Because he's out-teched, and he's going to have Knights, Maganels, and Monks on him. So this is the whole idea. If you attack the water player, then Yo is able to win water, or in this case, boom, after winning water. So I'm struggling to see what Brazil can do from here, except drag this game out very, very long into Imperial Age.
Well, first step is...
Resign. They're dead, Nilly. That was insane from Lix. Lix is just a god. like if we if we eventually interview the winners and it ends up being China, Lix won't be here. But I'm gonna have to ask Yo what Lix had to say about that, because I bet you Lix didn't even mention it. He's like, oh, whatever, I don't need it. I don't need the Rhino. I know I could still win with farms. That's ridiculous.
Wow, with those civilizations, that is just so good for them. Those were so late picks, Tute and Skeld, not interfering with any other picks for the other maps. They have to be on Cloud 9.
Yeah. Now watch this, and then go back and watch what happened when I tried to land and the enemy team expected it. Just immediately, stable gets walled in, villagers are dead. I tried to quick wall, everything went wrong. It just doesn't seem logical that Miguel would have scouts at home and Lix's first stable get walled in, and Lix could still end up having a stable, a siege workshop, and a monastery up with an FC on the enemy. It doesn't seem on paper like it should be possible to do what Lix just did there.
Think about something I just realized. Most of the time, people had 2 villagers and kind of ran into the center of the island, right? And tried to create a bigger base for themselves. Lux, just 1 tile away from the coast, tried to get the stable up as quickly as possible, wall the villagers in quite easily. And the problem was, Miguel, also the side dock. Do you think if he had the forward dock, it might have been easier for him to defend this?
I don't think it changes too much. I think what also is so brilliant about that is that Yo and Lix started off with their scouts in the on the tip of the island, and so Miguel and Dogal would probably assume that the stable would not go up there because they already scouted it, right? So they're gonna check other areas. Stable goes up, they find it, and then maybe they could have tried to stop. No, maybe the mistake for Brazil was just allowing the second stable, because Dogal could have had Navy there. He could have had Navy there, and the scouts for Dogal and Miguel were just too slow. But still, that's just insane.
Miguel, also not super greedy on water, right? Only having 3 fishing ships, knowing that his opponent is not going for water at all.
Yeah, I think he had more than that, but I could be wrong, Nilly. Maybe he didn't, and I missed something. But typically, you have 5 or 6 fishing ships in this spot. But we could talk till we're blue in the face about what Brazil could have done differently. But that's just tremendous play from China. Only so many teams could do that. You could argue only China could do that on Team Islands. Sick.
Lux is crazy. How he saved that goal.
All right, so in Dark Age, you said if Brazil lose this, they're going to have a real hill to climb mentally. I know we want live games, and I know that we want back-to-back action, but honestly, I'd be okay if Brazil need a couple minutes to breathe. They can walk around the house, come back, and reset, because they'll go on to Ghost Lake and Golden Pit. They need to win this if they have any chance.
Yeah, honestly, this is... We don't really have tactical timeouts in Age of Empires, but this is the spot where you take the 5 minutes and message, my mouse is acting up, Robo. I need to figure it out, need to restart the PC. And you take a small walk, take a sip of water, and then go into game number 3 more refreshed.
So this is why there were massive delays between game 2 and 3 with Germany, Russia. I see, okay. I see, Nilly. I'm onto your tricks. I'm kidding. I don't remember if there was a delay or not, but yeah, I get it.
We're like, get over with.
Nilly's probably like, is it worth winning a game in a tournament if I'm not on time? It doesn't feel right if I'm not on time. All right. Well, it will be Golden Pit next. Yeah.
Typical civilizations are Mayans, Berbers, something that is really good during Castle Age and late Castle Age.
Okay, I'm trying to break this down, keeping in mind we have potentially 5 more games. Where will Bulgarians be used? Or will Bulgarians be used? That's an interesting one.
They have to be used? Let me think about it. We have 16 civilizations picked, right? You don't have to use Bulgarians.
But they picked Bulgarians before some other civs.
Yeah, weird. There's only 1 civilization left, Tristan.
If they go through everything, just like in the best of 5s. So
yeah, but also like out of all the 35 civs,
there's only one.
And give some love to Turks.
Yeah, Turks not picked. Feels bad, man. I still remember, actually. Quick little story time. So I was in Hamburg for your event, NAC3, and there was the meet and greet. And someone came up to me. He's like, hey, T90, I've been a fan for so long. And he was a super nice guy. And he's like, listen, I didn't get any response when I was on Twitch or on YouTube. Why aren't Turks better? He's like, I feel like Turks are my favorite Civ. Can you please tell me why Turks are not good? He was really upset that Turks were not picked at a high level. So I don't even remember his
You're like,
username.
0
'Cause I don't think he
empires,
told
sit
me.
down, I will message you later.
I don't remember his username because he didn't tell me. But if you're listening, sir, that still gives me great memories. He was really upset about his Turks. So, but yeah, Nilly, Ghost Lake, or sorry, Golden Pit. I'll start with China. Berbers makes a ton of sense there, combined with
And Archer
Chinese
Civ.
would be epic. Yeah, any Archer Civ, but
We already know
Chinese
the
would probably
Civs.
be the best.
And yeah, Berbers, indeed, Chinese could absolutely be fine. You could go for close to any Archer civilization there. You still have. What is it? Am I confused? Berbers? Ah, yeah.
Can you see it under spectate game?
Yeah, I'm in there already. Yep.
Oh, fun. All right, let me see. I might need to restart my game. Okay, I have to restart. But what civs do you see?
I see Berbers for Mr. Yo, and he's pairing up with an Archer civilization that could potentially be not played as an Archer civilization, being Incas.
Yeah.
And they will face off against Lithuanians and Ethiopians.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, all those civs seem good. I especially like Incas in that spot because it's not your best Archer civ, but it's still a civilization that gets full upgrades on ARBs. And also, if you want to get wacky, you give Lix Incas, and Lix will know what to do. So.
And it also puts some fear in your head, right? If you're Brazil. Like this guy, he could just play meta, but he could also just suddenly show up with 12 villagers next to my TC.
Would this be especially scary if you're Brazil and you're trying some type of fast castle shenanigans again? Because in game 1, Dogao went Drush FC. He goes Drush FC here. Either Miguel gets Vil rushed and towered, or Dogao gets Vil rushed and towered, and I think both will be quite bad for the Brazilians. So this might need to be a feudal age war for them. I will be in game number 3 in just a bit.
Yeah, the thing is, Golden Pit was a bit tougher than Arabia. So I think Drush FC more on the risky side. I think maybe even Dogao might just play double archery range here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I see the game. We'll be in Nilly. How important is it for Brazil? This seems extremely obvious, but it's a caster thing to talk about obvious stuff sometimes.
Well,
So,
good point, T90. If they lose this game, they're up against 4 match points, and that's a spot you don't want to be against a top team like China.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. I was, how important is it for Brazil? Nilly got ahead of me there. They have to win this game. And I think with so many games upcoming and so many potential maps, it is still possible for Brazil, but it's hard for us as casters seeing that, know what the mentality is going to be like or if it's going to be good enough for Miguel and Dogao. Oh, Robo's saying they restarted?
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if this is a restart, then we have to wait a few more minutes, so.
Oh, yeah. A villager was lamed here. Miguel lost one. Double? Like, Lux and Yo.
Oh, so you're in on the game that they eventually restarted?
Yes.
Okay, so what forced the re and who called the re?
Brazil called the re. They simply lost one villager. Lux and Yo both sent their scouts towards Miguel. Couldn't lure the boar.
Wow, so they call the restart due to scout laming in Dark Age. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's still one restart per best of 7. You don't have to give a reason if you call the restart. So that's very important to note. But I guess you can always call if you lose villagers that early. That's rough, man. I mean, that's also going to get into the mentality of Brazil all that much more. It looks like I'm spectating the quote-unquote real game, so we'll be back in with the same civs in 60 seconds.
Okay, so they didn't waste a lot of time in between games then.
No, they did not. So how good are Yo and Lix feeling right now?
Well,
oh, man.
Mostly they're leading 3-0.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of feels like... after getting that win in game 2 with those civs, that there's definitely going to be games in the future where their civs feel stronger. Yo and Lix are just they're so reliable, Nilly. They always show up. It's crazy. They weren't playing their hottest Age of Empires before they played Finland. Finland was looking lights out, and then Yo and Lix just made Max and Velez look so much worse than they really are, and we have the same thing already to start off today.
Yeah, it is so weird, right? And you and Lux, you feel like, okay, this is so wacky, this is so off meta, and there should be proper counter to it. But even if like Finland and Brazil can't find counters to these, that really shows you the top level that China is in.
Yeah. Yeah, the only team that was able to beat China 2 years ago in the 2v2 World Cup was Finland, and they're already out. So, I mean, I'm so excited. We have this best of 7 to complete. At least 2 more games. I'm thinking it's going to take it more to 5, 6, maybe 7. We'll see. And then we have Norway for Spain later. So much to talk about. But Miguel looking for some redemption for his team, playing as the Lithuanians here in the red. In the yellow, we have Dogao. Dogao is playing as the Ethiopians. Up against Yo. Yo is Berbers. And then Incas for Licks.
Okay, let's
we
take
just
a look
moved at the same time.
Yeah, because, well, now it's the thinking phase, right? Can they play Fast Castle? How are the maps looking? And Miguel's map, well, looks like a pretty typical Golden Pit map. You can wall, but it's far away, so it will get tricky against Lux. I think if you try to wall this completely, you just die against him.
Yeah, don't think we'll see that, Nilly. We perhaps see Licks play somewhat standard. Here he comes with the Eagle. Eagle can be devastating against villagers. Also a little bit more line of sight, so you can steal stuff. Just like that right there. Yeah, maybe Licks will have to play standard. Maybe no man-at-arms. Maybe just straight archers. I mean, he did that in game 1 with Britons quite well.
Oh, Lux and Yo, look at that. Both sending their scouts again. Just ended the game before, forcing the restart because Miguel had the loss. And now it might get tricky again. He obviously doesn't have Loom.
Yeah, in this case, Miguel does have the line of sight on the Eagle for Licks. And he's sending the turkeys away. Miguel's looking for them. Miguel does not realize that they've looped around like that. So Licks with the good micro. And also good move from Miguel. I guess he learned his lesson, but walling in his wood line.
Yeah, but a bit too early. Look at that. 4th villager didn't get in. Okay, now he sends him back and gets the boar at the left-hand side. Where is the other boar for him?
Other boar. Oh, Town Bell. Oh my god. Brazil are having some rough times here. That might be Nerves misclick right there.
Look at the positioning. Oh, and the other boar is rotting. Not a
great.
good start.
But you do have 150 extra food with Lithuanians. So if this happened with any other civ, it might be more brutal. I see Dogao walling in his wood line. Also getting Loom.
Yeah, they're scared.
Interesting.
They are scared.
Crazy. Now, when I spoke to the Brazilians about it was 2 weeks ago about the tournament, they said they had played training games against virtually every team, and they felt like the most devastating team for them to face would be Finland. So it's interesting that they said that, and they thought that Finland was the strongest, and now Finland's out, and it's China. You know, and China are just swarming around. It's like there's blood in the water, and these two are sharks just waiting for that next bite, man. Wild to see, even in Dark Age, how one team feels to be in more control.
Not sure how much they played against Asian teams, though, right?
True.
I think
they probably didn't train. Yeah.
Yeah, against Europeans, Americans, and yeah, like I don't think, for example, Vietnam got too much practice off against non-Asian teams either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. If they did it properly, we would not know who they're training against. I said last week that they did train a lot against Vietnam B, but Vietnam B just not on Vietnam A's level. But that's true. That's true. I really wonder, and if China end up winning today, I'll ask like how much practice happened then for China. I mean, they play all the time, so that might be enough practice for them. But here comes that drush for Dogao Nilly. So another game where Brazil will stick to that game plan that's worked for them so much in this tournament.
Yep. And the question is, can he play fast cars after this? I think this might be actually a rush into Feudal Age army.
And I think Licks is going to go for the Villager Rush.
Yeah, only 2 on wood.
He's going 18 pop up, and he's going to send villagers forward. Wow, so Licks is not going to play meta. Screw the meta. Get those blacksmith upgrades, go on stone, build towers. Miguel's going to be in for a really rough ride.
Ooh, and does Miguel scout that? He is seeing double stones. Saw that no villager was on stone, but that was roughly pop 17, so no surprise there.
Yeah.
Drops the barracks, won't be up late, right? He's playing pop 18, but actually, scouts, not the craziest thing if you face a lot of +1/+1 villagers.
Yeah. Now, on the bright side, his berries are on the back, so that can't be denied. His food income will be okay. He's probably worried now that villagers might come forward, and Miguel's really scouting. Is he on gold? Still not on gold. Is he on stone? He'll check that. Okay, he sees the stone, so he will immediately know. First off, I'm not going to have support from my teammate, because my teammate's going Drush Fast Castle. And second, I'm going to have villagers on me any minute now.
And this is going to be ugly then. Drops the stable in the other direction. Tower should come up, and Miguel, no idea. Like, he has a good idea, but he doesn't see the tower.
Yeah, and I mentioned how Incas can counter the Drush FC because you're able to get pressure on the scout player or the Drush FC player so much faster. So that's a perfect tower to place, and Miguel's on one lumber camp nearly. It's not like he has 2 lumber camp eco. That entire lumber is denied, and he's forced to build a new one.
Oh, at least he sees it in time. Won't have any big problems, but... Well, that house could be crucial. I think that house alone buys him quite some time. Is Lux now going for Dogao?
He's walling in that tower with 1 villager, and then he's sending the others forward. Maybe he is, but that might be quite good for Brazil. It gives Miguel time to mass, and Miguel is not losing any eco then. I suppose Yo is going to be making scouts in a bit, but wait a second. Yo doesn't even have a stable, Nilly.
Is Yo playing full eco upgrades? Wow.
Yep.
So maybe just adding 1-2 spearmen there to the front could be an option, but he's not even doing that.
I know we're experienced with us not liking situations for China and them still getting wins, but I don't love this. I know that Yo's going to have a better castle age because of it, but how good would it have been as Miguel snipes a villager if Lix goes full-on pressure against Miguel and then Yo backs it up with scouts? Instead, Yo's not going to back up his teammate at all, and Lix is going to have so much eco exposed.
And that tower won't do too much, right? So Gao maybe has to delete 1 farm.
Yeah.
And that's not the craziest angle.
All right. Well, keeping an eye on things here. Miguel will be happy that the eco is better than it would be if towers and villagers were fighting.
Looks trying to save his villager against the Drush. Loses one.
Oh, the Drush actually got in. And these are villagers with armor and attack. And Dogao was able to kill a villager there. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, that shouldn't really happen. But, well, you see, even Lux will have some slip-ups there. Just so much happening for him. Needs to make sure that his villagers at the front don't die.
Yeah, I wonder if Miguel is doing the right move here. He's probably heard that villagers are exposed on berries. Lakes is not expecting these scouts to come towards him. So here comes Miguel. He does leave his teammate on his own. And actually, Yo has scouts now? What? It was just a late stable, I guess.
Wanted to go for the eco upgrades. That's surprising to me. Maybe he felt they didn't need them that early, but Lux had to pay for it. A lovely move, by the way, by Dogao. We had Lux setting up the tower so that he could potentially hop inside the base of Dogao, but Dogao saw the Legend of Jon Snow video and built the house to block it.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on all this stuff is going to be crazy for the players. And the scouts get through to the wood line, Nilly, and a villager goes down. This is exactly what Brazil need. More Vil picks on Lix, and that's 2 additional villagers down. Lix is really in a rough spot economically.
How did that happen? Did he not really build that one? I think the other side might even be open. That's so weird by Lux.
He is focused on the front, and his villagers have chopped through. And now the scouts from Miguel will shift over to Yo, where they shouldn't be able to find any damage. But now Yo's shifting over to Miguel. Miguel with some nervy walls, though. Like, the way he's walling, it doesn't feel like it's the best. He might be able to get them down in time, though.
Well, seems like he is. It obviously is tricky, right? He had to have his scout at home, try to defend, had to run from the eagle, and maybe then walls won't be in time. But 1 low HP scout included. Yeah,
should still lose a Vil if Yo plays this properly. It's going to be 3 scouts. Could be more than that. Oh, man, this is frustrating, right? You're almost completely walled off, and now it will be a total of 4 scouts through. Miguel will lose 2 villagers. Ouch.
Uh-oh. Almost completely walled off. That's something you can't really put in your resume for sure. 4 scouts now coming over, and there's not a lot of defense for Miguel. Now builds 1 spearman. Will be tricky.
Yeah, I'll have to fight with villagers, I think. You pull the vills, you bring the spearman over. He snipes the weak scout. That's impressive. But it's going to be tough to micro that. It's probably a better move, and he's doing it to bring his scouts home, Nilly. Just chase that down with some mobility. Meanwhile, you have Dogal. And Dogal has not clicked up to Castle Age yet. So this was supposed to be Drushfast Castle. Even receiving the extra resources from arriving in Feudal, he has not clicked up to Castle Age yet.
Yeah, farm blocked, had to wall quite a bit, had to build the defensive tower. And then his eco got a bit weird, right? 17 on wood, now drops some more farms.
Yeah, his eco is not even close to being in the spot he would want to be at. And I think Yo, since he's created so little, Yo will click up to Castle Age first, and there he goes. So Yo clicks up to Castle Age. He's been able to do damage with the scouts, licks his way behind, but finally a spot where Yo feels like he can carry with one of the best carry civs.
Yeah, absolutely. That should be a lot of control. He has the safe gold for now. Where's the second gold spot? To the back, so full control of that one. And Lux, well, he will guarantee that Miguel will still be open.
Yeah. The thing about the towers is you can prevent someone from easily fully walling. So that's exactly what Lix is going for. He's like, all right, I'll open the door for you, buddy. You can send knights in. No worries. Miguel will have 2 wall behind this. If he does not wall behind this, and you can't even wall in towards the TC, I think you have to full wall in front. Yo's going to run right through.
Yeah, it completely feels like it. Is going for lots of houses now, walling with 4 villagers. But this is really tricky. Just still so much more open. And the moment Lux just builds a tower next to it, knights will still get in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like a tower. He's obviously towering now to eventually break through. But I'd almost like a tower on the farms as well. Because Dogal's been threatened. Miguel's been threatened. I think it's important that Yo's eco remains untouched and Miguel falls further behind with farms.
Yeah, the thing is with that tower, you actually prevent the rewall, which is more important, right? 2 knights getting in, guaranteed getting in. It's just so much more important than preventing maybe 4 farms to be taken.
Well, Miguel can do more. He can wall from the wood line to the house and then from the house to the other house. So he'll do that now. But yeah, you're right. It's more important to allow Yo in than it is for Lix to deny a farm or 2. This is not what Dogal would have wanted. Dogal was moving out. And yeah, exactly. He's moving out now, Nilly. But he's not even close to getting crossbow, and Yo is already on knight. So Dogal's running back home, and Yo is running to the middle to already place a town center there.
Feels weird how late Dogal is, right? Even if you get delayed. Like, that is a 22-minute timing, maybe 21:30 or something. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Something went wrong there. His berries were safe. His gold was safe. He lost a farm, maybe 2 eventually, but good tower from Lix. And Lix's only job is to make sure that Miguel is not walled. It's his only role here.
Yeah, and 3 knights. Now they know their first target is Miguel. Miguel won't be able to wall this one. I think Lux should maybe even continue repairing a bit just to make 100% sure that Miguel can never quick wall behind it. But now he builds the tower next to the farms that he wanted to see.
Is there something more Miguel needs to do here? He should expect the knights are going to come through, right? He's not walling off the front of his base. It seems like Brazil are flustered. And +2 defense already. These knights will run right through.
And +1 attack as well. This will be so tricky. And now the villager's even running out of the TC.
Lix is like, this is a great idea. I'm going to come right in here and place the tower. That's such a Lix thing to do, man. Whatever. The knights are there. And it makes sense. There's nothing stopping Lix from doing that. Miguel is in ruins.
What is the palisade? Did he take over the farm to delete the farm to wall around the tower?
I believe he just did that.
Holy
Clicked
moly.
the enemy farm, deletes the farm. Do Inca villagers steal farms faster? I know they build farms faster.
No, it's just 1 hit.
This feels so over, man. Yo, the only thing he has to worry about is the crossbowman coming from Dogal. So Dogal, he's untouched at the moment. His eco's not looking good. Can he pressure with the fastest firing crossbows in the game?
Do you think Yo needs to go for a siege workshop, or is there a chance that he can mass enough knights?
I think with Berbers, there's always a chance you can mass enough knights. How many knights do you think you need against that? Like 6 minimum?
Oh, way more, way more. Like, Ethiopian crossbows, I think I'd even go for 12 to have an effective clear up. Like, 6?
12 against 17.
Yeah.
6 minimum would probably force him away a little bit. But yeah, 12 is a lot of knights, Nilly. And villagers going down. And also all the golds are back here.
Huh. I think he kills like 2 on the way till you get there. So yeah, maybe like 8 and 9 could be enough as well. But well, let's see. I think like, ooh, Ethiopians are
this
crazy.
is what you want. This is what you want from Golden Pit, right? You want someone who has gone a bit on the boomy side, being pressured. Poor Miguel's at 27 villagers. We have 7 knights, and Yo's going to try his best here. And Miguel also sending in 2 knights. I don't know where they came from, but he's going to contribute a little.
Oh, okay. We'll find some villagers. Let's take a look how well 7 will do. I think crossbow might win.
Yeah, it takes 3 hits to kill the knights. The crossbows down to 14 now. There's 4 knights remaining for Yo. Yo maybe taking the gold just to get his gold back. And Nilly, it looks like 1 or 2 more knights would have been useful here. Especially now that Miguel has knights. Dogao will still stay here. Is Brazil going to win this?
Uh-oh, not looking
What
good
is
for Yo.
happening?
Brazil's taking the score lead.
What is happening? I mean, Yo does have gold, but he doesn't have food now. And then Miguel is hardly going to have villagers. Oh, man. But I guess Yo can't send knights to Miguel anymore because he needs to defend himself.
Looks still in feudal age, so it's not like, oh, he might get this transition into eagles quite easily.
Yeah, well, the knights do come back from the middle area. They'll take out those crossbowmen. Do you think Dogao should be considering some pikemen here, or is that not going to have much of an effect?
Well, pikemen is lovely with Ethiopians, right? You know that Lux can't really get into too many crossbows. I think mixing in like 4 or 5 pikemen could make lots of sense, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Miguel is just playing musical woodlines over here. he's got to reposition woodlines and golds constantly. And only so many choices for golds. I think Lix will loop around to tower this one next. And here comes Dogao again. Now, Dogao and Yo were just passing. Yo was hoping to hit Dogao. Dogao hoping to hit Yo. Let's see if Yo has to bring units back home to deal with this.
And I just see like Lux just scouting. Oh, Miguel, you're good. What's going on?
Dogao space!
Oh, God.
He figured that Yo would go home. But Yo is here. Oh, my God. That's so unlucky for Brazil. But at the same time, Yo has to send villagers out of his own eco. This is so messy.
And knights can go through there. Maybe take the fight against the crossbows and they can't mess up. This is so good for Yo.
Oh, Dogao almost walled it. There was a 1-tile gap. This is so good for Yo, as you said, Nilly. And now what? I guess you finished the town center? Oh, Lix is going to have something to say about that. Yo's going to have something to say about that.
Let's take a look. 2 more knights coming over. So I assume 1, 2 more dead villagers. He sends all of them back, but nice walls around it.
Yeah, it's so Lix to just show up and start plopping a tower next to his buddy, making the knights. I got you, Yo. The TC will go up, as you said.
Yeah.
Lix actually has the Vill lead. Lix, of all people, the person who went for forward villagers and lost more villagers in feudal, has the villager lead. What is this game?
Fight now. Dogao in Mr. Yo's base. Tries to micro this one, but I think this time it's enough knights.
Yeah. Around the numbers you mentioned earlier, Nilly, this should be a big cleanup. Yo took many losses, but he still has farmers working, and he still has gold in the middle. And Miguel seems like a non-factor at this point. Dogao needs to react because Yo's back. Yo snipes 2 more just like that, and Lix is now in castle. And I guess Lix could do whatever he wants now.
Maybe. Oh, he likes to sling apparently.
Getting coinage. Okay, maybe sling and guard tower. He's actually sending more villagers forward as he gets his first wood upgrade. He'll probably drop another tower, and then he's going to send all of his food and gold to Yo so Yo can carry. Very smart.
Yeah, and like, obviously Yo has all the set. Okay.
Doesn't matter. Wow. Who would have thought that a best of 7 semi would be 3-0 with this much domination? China are looking unreal today.
And it's the second time that they're winning with weaker civilizations as well. In Arabia, they had the clear lead, but game number 2, not supposed to be won by them. And this one with Incas versus Ethiopians, he had to go for something wanky, but, well, oh boy, did he deliver again.
When we launched the signups for this tournament, I messaged Yo and I said, Yo, are you going to sign up with Licks? He said yes. And I said, Yo, just so you know, you don't need to sweep every single time you play in a tournament. He's like, but I like sweeping. I like it. I like being Mr. 7-0. I like being Mr. 4-0. What in the... all right, Nilly. Well, it's got to be a blow to the mentality, an even further blow to the mentality of Brazil. They're amazing players, but maybe we saw a little bit of it right there. Dogal's fast castle time was not nearly as good as it was in previous sets in this tournament. They've got to be rattled now.
Yeah, that was still... What castle time was that? 21:54. That felt
way too slow.
So much slower than what we expected.
I don't understand that. He probably just had... Well, I guess he pulled villagers to build a tower, which does cost wood, and then he was off of wood, and then maybe didn't have the farms. But with Ethiopians, it's normally faster.
Did go for 3 number attempts at one point. I'm confused.
If he had crossbow at 18 minutes, I think Brazil win that. But instead, he had crossbow at 22 minutes against Yo's 1940 castle.
All
right.
Maybe something to rewatch there and really analyze what's happened. Obviously, looks kind of took a lot of our attention.
Yeah. I mean, and that has been the MO for China for so long. I think Licks, every tournament we cast, is gaining more and more fans because people are beginning to realize, or if they show up for the first time, realize how strong and how fun he is. And it's not just, he's not a memer. This is the semifinal, and he's making all these crazy strats work.
And I wanted to build a comeback storyline that, like, Brazil, they still had all the greatest civilizations left after game number 2, so they can easily even it out just picking the strong civilizations. But now they're lost with Lithuanians and Ethiopians. Looks even tougher.
Yeah, it'll be very, very tough. But it will be on Ghost Lake next. And Ghost Lake is one of the best maps for Brazil. Could have said the same for Golden Pit. Probably not the same for Team Islands, but I see the civs on our screen now. It will be Cuman's Aztecs against Slavs Mayans, and more unique than we expected it to be. Oh, actually, I got it. It's Slavs. Yeah, Slavs Mayans, Cuman's Aztecs. My bad.
Yeah, so you're correct. That is interesting, right? We have seen Cumans quite a bit. It feels like Ghost Lake is the most vulnerable of all those maps. So we have seen very early TCs, behind walls. The big question is, why are we playing Aztecs with that? Is it Cumans 2TC into Castle Age, into Sling, into Eagles? Into GG?
Aztecs feel very out of place if you're sticking to the Archer meta. Because there's so many civilizations, granted it is a best of 7 now, but there's so many civilizations who can go straight Archers better than them. And even Imperial Age Archers better than them because they lack crucial upgrades. So, honestly, if Yo goes for 2 TCs and Licks makes it messy again, I don't care what civ he has. But against Dogal, who will probably go Drush, Fast Castle, Crossbows, I think it's going to be fun to see what China have planned here, Neely, because I don't think I've seen Aztecs and Cumans combined on Ghost Lake yet. And oh no, I have the no snow mod on. What have I done? I'm so sorry, guys. It's now the summer version of Ghost Lake.
In Christmas mod in game 1, summer version in game 4.
It's fine. It's now Swampy Lake. It will maybe give, I don't know if that gives Brazilians more home map advantage or what. So in the blue, we have Yo playing as the Cumans. And then in the green, we have Aztecs for Licks, as we talked about, Nilly. A very forward golds for everybody. Those main golds are always next to the lake region. I noticed that the teammates seem to be very close together, and the teams themselves pretty far apart, actually, compared to what we normally see on Ghost Lake.
Well, yeah, I think it's relatively even, maybe a bit further indeed. And look at the lake. Like, what do you see there? Is it a spade? Is it a fish swimming to the right-hand side?
It honestly looks like I don't really know my fish very well. It does look like a fish. You've got the little tail. You've got the top fin, the bottom fin, little nose. It looks like a fish. It's Nemo. We found Nemo here in the semifinals.
Okay.
But
everything on the line. Brazil has to win 4 games in a row. May and Slav, again, pretty strong. But we know that Lux and Yo will have a strategy prepared.
Okay, so the meta is expected. You could go full wall. We've seen some teams do that. In
Scout
the
of Mr. Yo. Scout of Mr. Yo.
Oh, ouch. That could have been way worse for him, actually. And Lix is also over here. So China, again, using the scouts in Dark Age.
25 HP on this Hunter. Gets away.
Yo, I know you're up 3-0, but that was a little ambitious there. To try and block that close to the town center. Good quick walls from Miguel.
Oh, they can
and
still
fortunately
restart.
for him, he won't take losses.
Right? So it's very common, and that's one of the reasons why, for example, Viper never picks a restart in game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
To not give the option to the opponent to just go lame every single game, and if it goes wrong once, to just call the restart.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think it was... I forget what tournament it was nowadays. But Viper spoke to him afterwards with an interview, and he said, yeah, when I'm aggressive, and then my opponents call restart, then I'm even more aggressive. And if that doesn't work out, then I always have mine. But good work there, and I actually notice Miguel, he needed this, stealing 2 sheep from Yo, and if he goes to the top of the hill, he could also steal 2 more.
Oh yeah, this is ugly. Yo has no food on the TC now.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's 125 food, but does he know about his boar over there? And now we have Miguel pouncing on the villager.
Uh-oh, great start, but gate behind it!
What? Mr. No! He saves the villager, he kills the scout, he'll take his boar, perfect timing, never a doubt.
This should not have happened. This should have been complete deny of the boar or the sheep, and this turned out perfectly for Mr. Yo.
That was so sick, man. That was so sick. He'll bring the weak villager home just in case. He'll have his food. I suppose he still is down 2 sheep, but my word, man. There's so few players who could be in a good position after that.
Yeah, like, I'm dead here, right? I have idle TC for 7 minutes, and we'll send 12 villagers long distance going for berries, because I don't have the balls to go for that boar, and don't have the skills to get that quick well done.
All right, so Miguel goes from a very good position to kind of a rough position now, especially when you're up against Kumans. Do you expect the boom? Could they still go scouts? You do have some questions in your mind as to what they'll do. But I think Miguel's assuming the correct thing. I think he's assuming a boom, and so he will not go for scouts nilly. He's walling up his base. This might even be a fast castle for him.
Yeah, maybe manual aggression is actually a very common answer to humans, right? You know your opponent won't have a lot of army early on, so Slavs could be solid at that.
Yeah, now, I see something very interesting on the other side. Lix adding militia, so this could be a fast castle for him. And that's maybe to react to Dogal's eventual Drush FC, which should surprise no one if you've been watching Brazil. This is how Brazil have won so many games and dominated teams throughout this tournament.
Ooh, tricky spot, though. I'm not sure if you actually need to wall that heavily, because you know your opponent won't go for any early army, right? What can an Aztecs player go for? Maybe the Drush, but then your walls are maybe even too late now at 8.5 minutes. And against any feudal age aggression, you don't need to wall with 3 villagers.
Yeah, well, I think when you're down 3 games, you're worried, and I guess he didn't know that there were this many militia. That's an awful fight for Dogal to take. He's outnumbered, and he didn't get the attacks in early. So now it's good you have the walls up, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And, well, now needs to run. I don't even know how you approach from the situation. Are you just trying to run to the right-hand side corner to buy as much time as possible?
Yeah, I think you buy time. There's no reason. Unless we have... Actually, I think Miguel's going for the eco upgrades. So he's going to go double bit axe, horse collar, and add a lot of farms. So he won't have military. I would go to the right corner. I wouldn't take him closer to my teammate, but it doesn't seem like Dogal's doing that. Yeah, my teammate wouldn't like that.
Okay, so what is the Mayan player then going for? Is he playing crossbows? Is he going maybe even plumes, honestly? Because there won't be a lot of army for quite some time.
Yeah, I think 3 years ago, you and I would both be expecting plumed archers, but the meta has definitely shifted towards crossbows. And to break down why that is, for people wondering, it's simply because you can get more military out, and you can do more damage in early castle. Uh, I think that maybe combined with the fact that many years ago, walls were easier to build. They would build so much faster, so you could play safer. Now, you're not going to see many stone walls in Feudal unless you're watching Tim and CL. So, yeah, it does feel very natural to go for crossbow. And I noticed that Yo's TC is on a stone nilly. So instead of going for 2 TCs into knights, maybe he's thinking about kip checks.
Well, I think this could have also just been at the gold. It might just be to have better wood control. I don't expect him to heavily go into stone. He can just build a mining camp next to gold as well.
Yeah, it could have worked vice versa, right? Now, what Tato did with Spain against Canada when they 3-0'd Canada, which was a massive surprise, is they had the Kuman player boom and then send the resources over to the Goth player. Now, we don't have Goths here, but you mentioned, is it possible to get licks onto Imperial Age Eagles and just allow Yo to boom? Sling would be the only way that would happen. Aztecs feel kind of out of place going archers against Mayans otherwise.
Yeah, he's heavily onto gold, so that's a bit surprising to me. Like 5 on gold already. And actually, they had Goth in the draft. So they had that option to repeat the strategy of Spain there. Didn't opt for it. I'm a bit surprised. I think Sling is an option. Well, Mayans, like Plumes, could be good against that. We won't see Plumes. Technically, a Sling onto Boyas would be perfect counter against that.
Yeah, and a Sling onto siege onagers would also counter everything. That'd be great. All right, well, Lix was unable to break through. His uptime should be decent, but he is still down a bit of food. And you look at Dogao. Dogao is already clicked up to Castle Age. So this is what Brazil would have wanted. They don't want to be down 3 games, of course, but Dogao going 2 range, faster Castle Age into crossbows is huge.
And then it will be just crossbow v crossbow from what it looks like. But yeah, as you mentioned, that is a very early timing by Dogao. Pretty damn solid build order by him this time.
Yeah, and speaking of sick builds, Miguel will be up soon as well, and this is after going fast feudal. It's not even 15 minutes yet. He almost has the resources, but he does still need the stable. He does then need the blacksmith, so I guess he'll wait about 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds before he clicks.
Yeah, just the stable being rushed out indeed. Takes roughly 2 villagers. And then he's probably going for knights. But if he tries to match Mr. Yo's knight production, that shouldn't really work.
True, but they also will have some interesting momentum here. Now, this is a spot where Tato started to send a few villagers to stone for defensive towers against crossbows. We're not seeing that from Yo, and there's not as much of a need because he does have most of his resources he's using right now safe in the back. But something to think about as he's making house walls behind his palisades, which already have more HP, and now palisades behind his palisades. So he's expecting this hill to be the most vulnerable spot. Yeah,
but it's such a tricky angle, right? It's very unintuitive that the opponent is attacking there while he goes for blacksmith and market. Still not on stone, so I'm assuming that will indeed be knights.
Yeah, this is more like it for Brazil. This is what Dogao was able to do in the quarterfinals. What he did in almost every single game that they won on standard maps is he would go for the second town center, then he would go university, then he would go ballistic. So he invests in eco first after getting to Castle Age faster, and then gets ballistics to catch up to what the other archer player will normally do right away.
Well, it is tricky, right? There are so many different approaches, and we didn't really figure out what's the best situation. What I know is that Dogao and Miguel will be able to pressure Mr. Yo a bit. It's surprising that he's heavily walled at the back, but at the front, just 1 layer of palisades.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if... I suppose that Miguel had his scout over on the backside, so Miguel knows the gold was there. But it's looking pretty poor now. Yo will click up to Castle Age. He's on his way. Best case scenario here, I think, if you're Brazil, kill a few villagers, delay a few farms. But then I think you do need to consider backing away because Yo will be able to make a lot of knights.
And I like how Yo is doing that. That's the difference to how Miguel defended in Golden Pit, right?
Yep.
You see, even deleting farms, building more houses, more than he needs just to be safe, because he knows, I just need to survive.
Yeah, I have the lead when it comes to villagers. Let's maintain that. A few villagers on stone. So, again, a tower, maybe TC coming up in the future. And there's the first stable for Yo. So, he's not going to have that many stables out. And already Miguel sending knights forward. And, oh, there's a hole! That's on you. You said that that's the difference between the players? That's on you, Nilly. That's Curse of the Caster right there.
I'm sorry, Mr. Yo. I should not have said anything.
Well, the knights could do some real damage there. The crossbow is probably in the best position because it's risky for them to run in when a tower's going up and when TCs are there. Messy, messy stuff for Mr. Yo.
Quick ball though again. Good job there. One scout still around. Mr. Yo knows that it's full aggression by Miguel. Sees Bloodline, sees +1 attack, +2 defense. Oh boy, Miguel plays this 1 TC full aggression, no? Okay, no, adds a second
I think so. I mean, it's a good... Well, he's adding a second TC, yeah. But while you'd normally say that forcing 20 idols could win the game, you are up against Kuman, so you want to make sure that you kill fast. And the fact that Yo has been off of gold means that he can't make many knights. This is exactly where Brazil would want to be.
Oh, look at the boards from Mr. Yo. He just goes to the front and the gold. He even deleted some buildings.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that gold for now. Here comes Lix. Lix is like, I have to save you? Normally you're saving me. What is this? But Lix playing a standard role of into crossbows, and he's here to help, and he will clear this up. I think Brazil do have to back away slightly.
Okay, let's see. Maybe some more quick walls. House is coming up. Palisade wall is coming up as well. Crossbows behind this one. We'll find some kills. Uh-oh. And Yo, I have no idea how he's still at 60 builds.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than worth it for Miguel to stick around here. And Dogal is well aware, okay, now he's shifting to the back gold. So we have to pressure that next. And you look at Dogal's base. Dogal on 3 town centers soon. Ballistic's going to be on the way. His army numbers are looking great. He has more crossbows than Lix. 60 vills for Yo. 41 for Miguel. Wow, there's still such a massive difference.
Yeah, full control there for Yo when it comes to the economy. But Lux, he is playing full all-in style. He's adding archer range number 4 now, while Dogao is still sitting at 2.
That's a very Lix thing to do. Forget about eco and just go for army numbers. And that will probably be how China will win this game then. Sure, Dogal seems in a great spot with the meta. But since Yo has so many villagers, as a big fight's being taken here in front of Yo's base, it's very possible that China can flood with military.
I would say Brazil can maybe flood with military because more knights are coming in. Yo simply not having numbers. This TC should not go up.
What a great job from Dogal and Miguel. They realize they cannot sit back. They cannot allow Yo to stabilize. And they can't give Lix an opportunity to get those numbers out. So that's a doubt TC. That TC is officially denied. And Lix has all of his ranges back at home. He still doesn't have the reinforcements here. And Dogao just dives in underneath the town center to take out that batch.
Oh god, military count completely reset. Mr. Yo sits at 1 military now. Lux outnumbered. And full control now by Brazil.
Yeah, this is what I was expecting today. This is the Brazil team that stomped in the tournament so far. So I think now the Vil counts will even out a bit more. Yo's taking more losses. He's only on 2 TCs. Miguel's been on 2, and he's been untouched. And the pressure might swing right over to Lix in a moment, and Lix could have a really tough time with that.
Let's take a look. It feels like Dogao is trying to find the other angle there with the hill. Yeah. Tries to break through. Luckily, Yo already double walled there. I like that. And let's take a look. Oh, a castle in front of the gold. Interesting.
Hey, castle in front of the gold. That's why he placed that outpost. That's something that Brazil will see, but they will see Yo's crossbow, or excuse me, Lix's crossbowman. Fight that Brazil will take and should win if Dogal's micro's on point, and it's on point. I think to win this, right?
Down as well. Yeah, I think Dogao is chasing that one down quite nicely. And it is weird, right? How he can have more archers out of only 3 archer ranges now versus 5 from an Aztec player.
Yeah, that's Mayans for you. Mayans are very cheap, but also that's having 65 villagers versus 49. So Lix all in 1 TC, and if it's not working now, it's only going to get worse for you and your team. Waiting for Yo maybe to kick it up a notch with the night production. Miguel got through again and sniped more villagers. Well played.
And now Yo, normally he should be at the lead, but has the same amount as Dogao. Impressive boom by Dogao.
Yeah, and then Miguel on 3 town centers, even protecting that forward gold. Constant production from Dogao, constant pressure from Miguel. This is perfect, and I'll be honest, I know we're supposed to be neutral. At this point, I'm really hoping Brazil get this win because they're showing here they are a good team and that they can fight on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it mainly came down to one single hole that they're in such a good spot, but also their aggression just continued. And Miguel, he played an interesting strategy and got so many knights out.
I'm laughing because Lix is adding more ranges. He's like, well, we're losing fights. Let's get more production. Doesn't really have the gold to produce out of all of them, but the thought process is pretty clear here. And, oh, Dogao sees the gold in the back. Lix could have big troubles. If he can't take that gold and he can't take the forward gold, he can't make archers.
And that's all the gold. That's Lux out of the game then.
Should be. See if Brazil realizes that. Dogao has quite a few groups at the moment. And I think they've just signaled that Yo has a gold to the right of that, the gold he's currently taking. So I don't think that's the right area for Brazil to pressure right now, Nilly, if I'm being honest with you. But that's where they're shifting over to.
Okay, well, maybe just try to attack from that hill area as well. They like that spot to raid in the back. And look at that, Mr. Yo is even transitioning builds over there now.
Wow, so Yo thinking about... Is he sending Vills over there? Oh, yep, I see, okay. Well, say goodbye to some farmers then. 2 villagers down, and it's 74 Vills for Miguel, and it's 73 for Yo.
Yeah, 3 players very close when it comes to numbers. Only Lux, well, roughly 30 villages behind.
Yeah, and Lick's still scrambling to get crossbows over here. I think when he arrives, China can win the fight, so Brazil need to get good value.
Maybe China is losing on purpose only because they love Nomad so much and want to play it.
Like, we need some Nomad in our lives today. Oh, God. Well, interesting fight here. It's really important that Dogao gets value because he is on the way to Imp. Seems like he'll lose most of these crossbows. In fact, he's not firing half the time. A moment for China, perhaps, Nilly, to overwhelm the Brazilians, but there's still so much yellow and red coming in the middle of the map.
Yeah, but in smaller groups. No, I wanted to say, but look at that. 27 new crossbow.
Yeah.
While on the way to
Arbs in
Imp, yeah.
a few minutes. So I think, do you pull back here or do you force a fight to try and keep China at home?
I think just going back and waiting for the upgrades is the way to go, right? You're not really getting pressured. You have TC set up, and the opponent's army is far away.
Yeah, and then maybe Miguel sits at his base, Dogao sits at his base, they wait, and then whichever base the Chinese players arrive to, they both join up together. A big, big counterattack coming, but will it be too late for China?
I don't really think that they can do enough, right? Miguel keeps on producing knights, so he has reasonable numbers. The crossbows of Dogao aren't too far out of position. He can even go down to defend Miguel after he gets this defensive castle up.
Yep, Miguel garrison that town center. This is definitely the time to take out the TC, especially if you don't see Dogao here, you know what's happening. A good move from China. However, I think they have to bail on this even before the imp upgrades because there's a lot from Miguel and from Dogao.
Oh, I don't think they can retreat. I think they will get completely cleared up. Dogao just having the numbers there to wreck the army completely.
Wow, that's nuts. Before the upgrades, Brazil will stomp. After the upgrades, it might just be GG. Yo could die to this. Lakes could die to this. In fact, Lakes should die to this. Only 55 villagers. Oh, man. What a play from Dogao this game.
Absolutely, he is putting out the numbers. Miguel, nice production. And Brazil is on the scoreboard.
And this is what they tried to do in game 1, and it didn't work. This is what they tried to do in game 3, and that FC time was so poor by Dogao standards. I think that was 21:50. This game, Dogao gets to the spot that he wants to. His uptime was 16:38. And they were all over Yo and all over Licks. But how good was the play from Miguel and Dogao on Yo over that 10-minute period, Nilly?
The pressure was nice. The rates were nice. But honestly, I think if Yo does not have that hole, we will see a 30-minute win for the Chinese.
Interesting. I guess you could also say similar things about previous games. Some mistakes were made from Brazil, too. It's impossible to play perfectly every time. Lix was even sending some resources to Yo there, but it was too late. Okay. So the Brazilians, they have played every single one of their home maps. And now this should be a tougher task because Nomad, Valley, and Scandinavia are maps that China seem familiar with and that China have picked. Forget about the mindset at this point because I think the Brazilians are taking this one game at a time. What do you expect from China, and how good are they with what you expect?
Actually, taking it one game at a time is a good mindset in this situation. So I don't mind that too much. So let's think about what we could see. I think it simply will be Nomad, and I'm expecting Persians and Spanish for China.
Yeah, and then if you're looking at the civs for Brazil, Malians seems like the easy pick there, and then it's what do you combine with Malians? I think it will be Malians Burmese.
Yeah, feels very likely, and we will have then Spanish versus Burmese. The question that we have asked a lot of times, what is better, Rembai or Kongs in that scenario, and probably Persians and Malians fighting for water.
Yeah, I think these, in 2v2 situation, this is the best stack you could ask for both of them. There's always, the snipes always make it interesting. The crosshairs show which civilizations were sniped after the draft for those watching. And what that means is you can eliminate a game plan for a map. So when Italians were sniped, China seemed very confused on what to do with their civilizations on islands. They ended up winning anyways, but that was one thing to bring up. And then Vikings, I don't know. I suppose Vikings being sniped out for Brazil means that they could be worse off on every map because Vikings are top tier in pretty much all of them. But
I think it was mainly
Nomad
for Team
civs have always
Islands.
been there.
If you don't get Italians sniped, you still can compete quite well on water, right? If you just get rid of Vikings.
Yeah. Yeah, they had Japanese and they had Portuguese there, which I don't think were bad picks. But anywho, it looks like Nomad has launched. Props to the players for not making us wait too long today. We have a little over 1 minute, and we're right, Nilly. The civs will be as we expected.
Props to us, indeed, yeah. And
did I say props to us? Or?
No. You said props to the players, and then I said props to us as well.
Oh,
we are so clever, predicting the civilizations right, as if we're doing that professionally. And yeah, so Dogao will play probably on water with Malians against the Persians of Mr. Lux, and we're expecting Miguel with Burmese to fight off against Mr. Yo Spanish, expecting both to go for their unique units. What do you like more, Conquistadors or Rembai?
It depends. Persians, Malians seem so similar. Persians start with more food. They start with more wood, so they can TC, dock, and fishing ship. Malians have cheaper buildings, so they can TC, dock, and fishing ship. Then they'll both probably go for water. Then they'll both probably go for knights and camels. And might see a transition later. And then for Burmese Spanish, big thing is what happens to the fishing ships, Nilly. Because Conquistadors, I feel, are better in the early fights, but Conquistadors cost food. And then Rembai do not cost food. So if you lose your fishing ships, you're actually able to still compete. Whereas I think if Spanish lose their fishing ships, they fall behind way more.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Mixing in monks doesn't really feel like a great option because the map is so wild. It's so impossible to get the full control. So keeping the numbers up is the way to go. Also, something we need to take a look at is, can they add stables? Can they go for husbandry and bloodlines?
Yeah, it's a good point. Ultimately, it comes down to eco, but there's a lot of luck on Nomad. There's a lot of adapting, and it gets very messy. And we have one of the messiest players in the world in Lix. So villagers are out. They're in random spots. Expect to see signals and docks and town centers. We can't really speculate too much, Nilly, until we see all those things.
Bottom of the map. Miguel against Mr. Yo. One screen away.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be kind of rough. Now, you could also argue that Miguel could be, you could change your game plan and you could just threaten Yo. And then if you threaten Yo, Dogao could win water if that is Brazil's plan. So there's, on the other side, it's even worse.
All together. Oh, God, this will be way more wild than what we even expected.
So forget about the meta of having one person go water, one person fast castle. I think this is going to be completely different. Lix Persians in the green, Dogao Malians, and then we have Yo Spanish. Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize Yo was playing Spanish. I thought it would be the other way around. And Miguel Burmese. Oh, boy.
And this could be like, yeah, as you said, like normally we're trying to come up with strategies. This one could be like 4 players going for tower rush.
Okay, so I need people to hold their excitement for a second because it is worth mentioning. I don't think China will do it, but China do have 1 restart per best of 7, and oftentimes you save the restart for an unlucky situation on Nomad, and you have to call that before 4 minutes. So just before everyone freaks out and thinks this is going to be the best game ever.
Oh my god!
Were you just making fun of me? You're just making fun of me, Nilly. That's not cool. I thought we were friends. We'll see if there's a restart. The docks are also close together in the top left.
Yeah,
You
so
can talk now. It's all right.
that is pretty good for Yo, right? Everyone else will fight at the bottom, and you can see Dogao and Lux pretty close together, even taking the same deep fish.
Yeah. So they know the TC positions are also close. At least Dogao does. He was scouting with the turkey, saw the TC foundation, and then backed out of there. Lix. Oh, Lix does not know yet, actually. He's scouting with the turkey and might find out in a moment if he loses the turkey to the town center from Dogao.
3:55, and we will see a game.
There's no way China would ever call restart here, but I felt the need to say it just in case. They're up 3-1, and if it's messier, it's even better for them. So.
Lux Villager, 15 HP. House? The house got killed by the TC. The house got killed by the TC.
That will actually house him. Slightly, I think. Yeah, that will. Watch this. He's pop capped because the house got killed by the town center. Well played, Dogao.
Okay, I haven't seen that before. And needs to rush it out with 2 villagers. No problem there. And, well, this is now becoming really interesting. And I think simply the fact that Yo at the top can fish uncontestedly is so nice. The big question is Miguel. He is kind of cornered. Will he get to enough food? Will he get to stone and gold? Gold seems easy.
Lix? If Lix goes water and wins, he will take out both Brazilians' fish most likely. For the reasons you said, just based on positioning. So what's weird is Lix is also directly next to Dogao, so there's temptations to not go water and instead go for something like towers. I would love to see a TC drop, but I don't think that that's going to be a wise play here.
Yeah, I think they're too confident that they can make something happen regardless. Mr. Yo trying to go for some lame, shoots those deer, so the food is rotting away. And now the villager running, Miguel is trying to chase him away.
Housed again, Lix. Badly oh, no, he was building a house somewhere. Okay, I couldn't find it. So he's good, and good move from Yo. So Yo knows that Miguel is close by, and the same vice versa, and we'll see what happens with his boar. Miguel wants it.
Miguel, does he really know? He only saw a villager running around. He doesn't really know that Mr. Yo is so close.
He's not scouting with many turkeys either. He's kind of saving them. And maybe he doesn't know. He'll definitely know he's trapped in. Where can he take stone if he wants to go for towers or Aaron by?
Oh, very close next to him. Probably has to control that in some way. Villager saved under his TC. And he won't be happy with that spot.
No. I would be so unbelievably paranoid now. Yo not only knows where you're at, but has a villager around. Awkward stuff, indeed. All right, Nilly. Well, expectations from here. Do you think Lix is going to go for that water meta, despite being so close? Or do you think a guy like Lix will choose to go towers?
It just feels like it's too important. I think maybe you go for a mix. Like, for Lux, it's so much easier, right? He doesn't need to build another mining camp. I think he will go for, like, 2 dogs, then maybe some towers. For Dogao, if he wants to go into stone, he has to walk a bit. But where's Dogao's next gold? Where's Dogao finding gold?
He has scouted golds, but all of those golds are closer to Lix. Oh my god. And the other one's really far away. That one's closer to Yo. Dogao could be in an awful position.
Oh.
And he's also done a pretty good job scouting, to be honest. So maybe you change your game plan here and you go for scouts and towers instead?
I'm not sure if scouts is really an option, right? Because you will lose your fish if you're not contesting water. And then where's your food coming from? You don't have any more food income. I think this is a wild thrush that he has to go for.
Right. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo has a villager walled in and is trying to wall in Miguel so Miguel cannot expand. I think Miguel has to expect this. If you see one villager, you have to know he's going to pull another one, especially when you need to expand. I think this is a very poor move on Nomad to not try and deny some of these walls.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, right? He didn't really know that Mr. Yo was so close. Still didn't scout any of that. But yeah, I agree with you. Using the turkeys more could have been a good thing for him.
Yeah, well, we do have 2 players on the way up, and it's the players on the left side. We have a barracks, and we have mining camp for Dogao. So it looks like it will be towers, and it will be scouts. As you said, Lix does not need a mining camp for the stone. He has a bunch of villagers on stone already. And he is double docking. So I think if he can find gold, which he's going to, it will be tower, maybe defense, and water control for Lix, and then scouts and towers from Dogao. But I think water and tower is better in this spot since both the Brazilians have their fishing ships so close to where Lix is at.
Lux is actually still not on gold. That's a bit surprising to me. So they're tower rushing more than what I thought.
Yeah, and he is going to the food instead. And he's adding a barracks, so we'll actually see scouts and towers from both of these two.
Huh. Even getting another boar in. No barracks by Lux, though. That's a big difference.
No. He has the barracks next to the dock. It's just out of the way. But he went 2 docks. It looked like he was going to go double dock and then onto water, and he's making the stable there?
What?
Lix is so confusing sometimes. There's a Vil fight now, though. And so far, only a spearman has died in that Vil fight, but Lix is kind of in a rough position.
Needs to run, and it feels like this game will be decided on the Miguel versus Yo side.
Yeah. Just the fact that Miguel is trapped. He didn't get any villagers out here. He's completely walled in. This is brutal. He can barely find space for a blacksmith in a market, but he'll do that and try and buy his way up to the castle age, I guess.
But how? I think you kind of have to go like Monk Siege from here.
Yeah, that's true. Monk Siege could be interesting, but I don't know if he'll have space. On water, Dogao is taking out Lix's fishing ships. I thought this would go a lot differently. I thought that Lix would not be the one losing fishing ships. And one more thing to mention, Nili, is that Dogao is just now adding the stable, so he just went for spear defense, expecting the scouts and the towers from Lix.
Yeah, great move there for sure. I'm a bit surprised that Lux didn't even build a single galley.
Dogao chasing villagers, and Lix somehow is making this weirdly placed stable work. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that will be a surprise by Dogao. Like, okay, I can chase Lux out, and then suddenly scouts spawning from there?
It's behind his wood line, yeah. Forget about structure when you're playing Lix. You will not know what to expect. Expect the unexpected, I guess, as they say.
Okay, so Miguel made it towards Castle Age, and they're going for a tower war. Remember, guys, tower war doesn't really matter if you have the hill control or not. What matters, though, is that neither player has fletching thus far.
And Miguel loses a villager. And his gold is so close to all of this. If Yoda is able to hold this position while he's on the way to Castle Age, he has stone. So he can drop a castle on Miguel. Miguel needs to break out of here desperately.
But how? Still a villager at the top. And what is Yo doing there? Is he opening the walls? Now walls behind himself? Oh god, he knows that he just needs to buy time.
Oh man, wow. He was able to keep this villager alive this entire time. Buying so much time. 2 towers v1 here. And now Miguel says, okay, this is the meta. I guess I'll try it, and places his own. But it seems like it's a losing battle for him, Nili. Villagers have already died here. Also, you have Lix still making life hell for Dogao.
Well, Dogao's actually trying to be the Hell Inflictor. But seems... Lux just casually builds a defensive tower. Should be fine there.
Yeah, and also if Dogao has to leave, the scouts are out. It seems like Lix is just waiting, being patient. Miguel update. Well, you said something like this in the previous game. I think if I'm in this spot, I'm already dead. Let's see what he can do. He has defended much better than many people would have been able to.
Yeah, Miguel, that he's holding that one is so nice. Do you think Miguel could have maybe gone for a transporter?
Well, his dock hasn't been hit. I think Miguel should be going double dock on the water, honestly. Forget about trying to get into Erenbai. He does have 2 docks. If he can swing his fires around to hit Yo's fish, that would be sick. Maybe a transport as well, because Knights are not going to work long term if Yo gets to Conquistadors. Scouts on Dogal. Dogal's lost 1. Dogal will lose. Well, I could lose 3. Doink and
Yoink.
yep, dead. Doink.
Another villager saved at the top. Tower still doing quite some damage. Kills 2 spearmen. More low HP villagers. Looks just so annoying against Dogal there.
Only 5 on food for Lix and 7 on food for Dogal. So don't expect these guys to go anywhere. But Yo can contribute with Conk soon. Wait a second. Did he delete his tower to place the castle there? He did!
Think so. Oh.
Yeah, Miguel, build a tower. Is it possible to deny that
No.
against Spanish?
Not against Spanish, no. And he did not underpull villagers. He's building it with 11 right now. Wanted to go with even 14.
And deleted his own tower and said a castle's better. Okay, and now poor Miguel. Now he goes for the transport. Yeah, he needs to escape.
Yeah, I think honestly, the transport is saving him from getting defeated here.
Well, he has experience with that, so it's just in the other game where he was defeated, Dogal was giving his team a fighting chance, and it feels like Dogal is at most even with Lix currently.
Oh god, the knowledge about how to play in those situations by Mr. Yo is just so good. So annoying with all the wall-ins. Realized the position he could put Miguel in if he walls this all up. And the beautiful towers, right? You kind of feel like, okay, he's delaying the castle, but he's actually buying time to put the castle exactly where he wanted it.
Lix is going to take gold over here because this is safe. And here comes Dogal. Maybe realizing villagers came over here. I'm not sure, but he'll tell Miguel, hey, buddy, we've got conks on the field. I need help. I can't do anything against conquistadors with just feudal age units.
Yeah, well, what can Miguel provide? He has a monastery at the complete other side of the map and no gold income.
Yeah, and what's he going to do? Transport the monks? I mean, actually, his transport was weakened by Yo's fire. So Yo has a fire down there. Transport's barely alive.
Okay, Kong's now jumping under the tower there, and
they tap out. Brazil just it really comes back to home maps today, doesn't it? Because it's almost expected that Yo and Lix are going to play this well on Nomad. It is their best home map. Yeah. This is not a surprise. What's a surprise is that Brazil lost game 1, 2, and 3, and they needed to get wins on their home maps earlier. It's going to be a tough task for Brazil. I feel really bad for them because they've had such a good tournament. But again, Yo and Lix making it to the World Cup finals.
Oh, man. And they deserve it, right? Maybe the favorite for a lot of people early on, especially after they beat Finland there to make it into the finals. And, well, they will put on a great show tomorrow against the winner of Spain and Norway.
Spain and Norway. That one... Well, I think at the start of the day, I wouldn't have said that Spain and Norway would be closer than this because I expected more from this set. I thought that this would be 4-3 or 4-2. Now, after seeing the 4-1, I'm saying that I think Norway and Spain will be closer. Both teams prepared and probably a very different series on our hands too, Nilly, when it comes to the home maps, how the civilizations are played, etc.
Yeah, I don't think that people will necessarily think, okay, we are the heavy favorites on Team Islands, on Nomad there, so home maps should be different, or at least the approaches should be a bit different. I'm really excited to see what Spain can offer.
Yeah, now, guys, Brazil played so well in this tournament. They beat Vietnam in a nasty set last weekend to get here, and I know based on seeing their games, I know based on talking to them that they would have expected more of themselves today. There's no doubt that they would have wanted to show more even in a loss. So with so many people watching, remember the human side of it and please salute them and thank them for training. I think we'll see a lot more from Miguel Dogal, maybe not even in country team game tournaments, but in other team game tournaments that may come in 2021, because I think LAN still teamed up with them there. And just a lot of exciting things for those two. They still made it very far, and I don't think it's too disappointing to lose to China at least.
Well, they also get another match tomorrow.
Lost. Yeah, it's true. They have the third place match tomorrow, which is another best of 7, and you fight for more prize pool and to get that bronze medal in the World Cup. So that will be against the loser of the next semi. Neely, before I let you go, wait, hold on a second. We actually have an interview. This might take a moment, but we'll have Mr. Yo in the casting booth to talk to him about how he feels about that set.
Okay. And I think of some
Um,
questions quickly.
yeah, write down some questions, Nilly. I'm gonna see if Yo's gonna be here soon. And then we have probably after the interview a 10-ish minute break before Spain and Norway begins. So dominant though. Do I need to do anything to get Yo here? I think Yo should be set, Nilly, but I'll keep you updated. 4-1. Huge surprise here. Twitch chat, thoughts on the games today and thoughts on the upcoming games. I see people already talking about it. And Robo said he's talking to Yo. So yeah, Yo will be here soon. Is there a physical casting booth? No, there's not a physical casting booth. It's a Discord channel. Yeah, Lix does not have very good English. So Lix will probably not join up. But if you have questions for Lix, I could maybe ask them to Yo. Yo's English is extraordinary, so. Lix is probably playing another Nomad game. He's probably queued up. He's probably the MBL of China. He's probably queued up to go play Nomad right now.
Yeah.
I still remember interviewing MBL after a best of 11. During the interview, I hear keys. I'm like, MBL, are you in another game right now? He's like, yeah. I can still do the interview. It sounds like Lix.
Ah, okay. Yeah. That wasn't that after KOTD 3 finals? Something like that, right?
It was actually a best of 11 fast speed show match.
Oh.
So it was Hera MBL over a year ago. Hera's like, oh man, this is so exhausting. And then MBL's just like, tick, tick, tick. You hear all the keys. I'm like, MBL, are you playing another?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, MBL is a master of starting streams after tournaments, right? I remember for a year, after every ECL Saturday, he was the first one to start streaming. And he's so good at that. Like, I really salute him for his, like, sitting back and then, okay, tournaments are over, instantly queuing up, instantly starting the stream.
Full weekend of Age of Empires. That's how it should be, right?
Yeah,
I'm really curious because when Norway does come up, I haven't heard status update on. Oh, Yo's here right now. Hello, Yo.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, man. Congratulations on making it to the final. How are you and Lix feeling after the 4-1 victory?
We are definitely really happy. Do you want him to be here?
If I'm not too familiar with how well Lix's English is, so if he's comfortable with joining, that's fine. If we have questions for Lix, I could always just ask you, and you could tell me what he says. But that's up to you guys.
Nah, I think I just handle this.
Yeah. Okay. That's
He
fine.
cannot speak English.
All right. Well, you won 4-1 versus Brazil when the series started. Did you think that this would be an easy set for you guys, or what were your overall thoughts before you played them?
We know they're a hard opponent, and we have watched their games versus Vietnam before, and they play really well. And in our opinion, they are they always should be top 4 2v2 teams in general.
Okay.
So yeah, we didn't expect it to be easy.
All right.
And
So
despite the score, I think the
Yeah.
game's still really intense and really close.
All right, so I'll start off with game one, and then I think Neely will have some questions too. So game one, you guys had Franks and Britons, amazing civs for Arabia, but you seem to be a bit surprised by the Drush because you hadn't moved forward with your scout. Talk me through what you and Lix were talking about after the Drush did so much damage.
Yeah, I kind of expect the Josh is coming, but my map is too large to wall. So I told Lex I'm really my economy is really damaged, but I hasn't lost a single wheel, so it was fine. It was fine.
Okay.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, what's the next question?
No, I was just gonna say you like what's the mindset there if you know he's going FC and you probably won't be in Castle Age till 20 minutes? Like what do you and Licks try and do better in that spot then while his crossbows are coming forward?
Stonewalling. That's what I did, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All
So
right, Neely.
yeah.
So then I'm asking about game number 2. It was Team Island. And you probably got into a weird scenario because they actually banned away Italians from you, which you picked relatively late. Were you surprised by that snipe?
Yeah. I'm really surprised. I was expecting them to ban Frank, and the banning of Italian really got us, and we had to use Scout to be the role which is supposed to be Italians.
So you always wanted to play Teutons as the landing civilization?
Yes, because we practiced this with other teams.
Ah, that's interesting. Okay, but then you knew, okay, they had great civilizations. How do you have to approach it in water? If you know, okay, you are Celts, but you are up against a stronger civilization.
In Team Islands, if the landing is success, then you can win water with no matter saves, I think. And Celt is strong in early games, and they have this bonus in cutting wood. And if we lost in the landing, then we're lost anyway. So this is our strategy. We have to win the landing. Then anything can happen next. But if we lose, then it's over.
Okay. Question about that. Did Licks tell you that he shot his rhino with his TC?
No, I didn't know. Really? In islands?
Yeah, he killed his rhino with the town center, and I told Nilly, I said, I bet you Licks doesn't tell him.
No, I didn't know.
Yep. Oh my god. Okay. How much? I don't know as much about Licks, right? So how much are you guys talking during the games? Are you talking more? Is he talking more? Is he pretty chill? What goes on?
Yeah, we're talking a lot because
Okay.
it's all about communication, right?
Yeah, yeah. But he doesn't tell you when he makes a mistake. That's really funny. Yeah, so he shot the rhino. And we saw the civs too. So Nilly and I were thinking this is going to be a disaster for China. And he made it happen. Is he available if you send him a quick message on Discord? And maybe
No.
I could get his response. Okay, he's celebrating already. Fair enough.
Yeah. Actually, he told me that he won't be able to up fast. I didn't know. I didn't know he killed his rhino.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, well, that happened. And if you watch the rec, you'll probably get a laugh out of it. But he played amazingly well and got the win for you guys. So game 3, at this point, you're already on another home map for Brazil. I mean, I'm even forgetting the order at this point,
Golden
right?
Pit,
At this point, it was
then Ghost Lake.
yeah, Golden Pit. So is that a strategy you feel is overall quite good to have Licks go with Incas and forward? Or is that maybe a counter to what you've seen a lot from Brazil with Dogal going Drush Fast Castle?
We didn't have good saves for the map. I mean, they're picking all the strong archer saves, so
Okay.
they didn't really leave us many choice. So, but going Inca for Lex is always a good choice. He's good at forward. I'm good at cleaning mess. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how Licks just tends to complement you so well. Do you think this is a good question? Actually, you've played with a lot of players in China, but do you think Licks is number 2 in China, or do you think Licks is just the best player combined with you because of your communication and in his style?
Yeah, he's my best partner. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's great. All right.
In general, Vivi is kind of stronger than him, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in 1v1.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's really crazy how in 2v2's communication and having a good teammate can matter so much. All right, so Neely, game number 4 then.
Actually, I have a question for game number 5, which was the Nomad game, where Miguel was really cornered at the right-hand side, and you made life hell for him. What could he have done differently to come out ahead in that situation?
He should have stopped me from warding. I mean, he know my spot, right? He know where my TC is.
He actually
shouldn't
didn't
have
know.
let me-
He didn't scout your TC.
No?
No.
I think he could have assumed it because your vills were so close, but yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't actually confirm that.
Okay, but he should have transport ships and move his wheels outside earlier, I think.
Yeah.
That's the only solution. If you are trapped that way and with Spanish put a castle in front of your TCs,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are basically just, yeah,
Okay.
GG.
Well, yo, how good is it? Because I know you guys practice a lot. How
Mhm.
good is it that you only had to play one of your home maps today before best of 7 final tomorrow?
Yeah, it's good because we don't have to review all of our strategy.
I still
I'm
see
really
Goth
happy.
there.
Yeah.
Uh,
We still have something.
Oh,
okay, you still have some surprises for the finals. That's exciting to hear
Yeah.
then. Cool. Well, how do you feel the next semi's going to go? I don't know if you'll be watching, but Norway versus Spain should be pretty crazy.
We will. We practiced with Spain before, and they're playing really good as well. I'm not sure about the Norway. MBL plus Viper seems like a lazy combo. I don't think practice at all. They probably
I,
didn't practice, didn't watch the game.
well, last week when I interviewed them, MBL was like, we practiced. And Viper said, what do you mean we practiced? We played maybe 6 or 7 games. So they practiced less than I did. And USA didn't get very far. So yeah, but they're a lazy combo, I guess, but they're also really good. So who do you think will
Yeah.
win with the well-practiced team Tato Lan against the lazy boys, MBL and Viper?
I think Lazy Boy will still win.
Ah, okay. So they're that good. Okay.
Yeah, they're good.
All right. Well, it's awesome that you're going to be watching next, and thank you for taking the time here. I don't know if Nilly has another question, but again, congrats, yo. You made it to the finals in 2018 when this tournament was much smaller, so I'm sure you're looking to get the win there.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, yo. Have a nice day. We'll see you.
See ya.
All right. Well, fun little interview. Did he just called them lazy boys? That's
yeah,
so funny.
it's so fitting. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah, I didn't like. That's something we would say. I didn't think that Mr. Yo would say something like that.
Yeah, I actually messaged MBL after the interview last week and apologized. It's like, hey, I'm just joking, right? Obviously, you guys are really good. I didn't want them to take offense to it. I didn't think they did, but I actually apologized for implying they weren't prepared. And then Yo comes out and calls them lazy boys. So, all right. Well, Nilly,
Makes it
before I
easy
let
for
you
us
go,
in the future because now we can just quote Mr. Yo.
exactly, we can just say lazy boys, and it's Yo's fault. But who do you think wins the next semifinal between Spain and Norway?
I will go with the 4-2 for Norway.
All right, I think that's a reasonable guess. I really think that Tato and Land need to be on point in every game, and they need to have a trick or two up their sleeve to surprise Norway. Because if they play standard the whole way through, the lazy boys are probably the expected team to win there. So, but yeah, we still have to see the maps. We still have to see the civs. Nilly, thank you for casting 2v2 World Cup with me again. It was so much fun, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, see you around.
All right, see you there.